Well, I'm live now. Okay. Whoa. Hey, hi. Give me a moment. I'm I'm a professional streamer or something. Hello. You might notice that my mic quality is probably a little bit worse than what you're used to, and I do apologize for that, but that is simply because I do not have the mic where I am right now, since I'm streaming on my secondary setup right now. Um, yeah. Hopefully it's not too annoying. Anyway, I hope it's not too much of a problem. If it becomes too much of a problem, I probably will end up just changing it. But yeah, I'm gonna be doing some Wolf Slayer today. Nothing special, really, but I am getting rather close to Wolf 9, and I still need to get it since it's like the one Slayer I'm not at level 9 with, besides Play Slayer. And yeah, we might end up going for that later. Probably not this stream, but after I get Wolf 9 at least. I'm also a little broke right now, so dropping something like an overflux would be very, very nice. I have not found a private lobby yet, because I'm not at all prepared for anything. I Hello. But yeah, um, anyway, that's just kind of what I'm going to be doing. I haven't really changed my setup from much over the last, like, long while that I've done Wolf Slayer. I have done a little bit more optimization for specifically spawning the Slayer. I do also need to set up my pet rules, because currently I have literally no pet. And yeah, unkill entity, that's wrong. Um, this is the wrong rule. Okay, I had the boss rule already set up, but I had disabled the spawning rule. When you start a Slayer quest. Oh, it is enabled. Okay, never mind. I have my pet rule set up. I just need to do one boss for them to actually start. And yeah, it is Diana right now, which normally I do actually like and enjoy doing Diana, but in general, I try to do something new every once in a while. I also am not on the right reforges. I can tell since I'm doing literally no damage right now, even with a golden dragon. Let me fix that real quick. Have a good one. No worries, DH. Hope you have a good one too. That's the wrong guy. I need to call Maxwell. Hello, Maxwell. I do not care about you. Here we go. And I need to be on Hurtful, like I always am, basically. And attack speed is not going to be a problem because we're using Golden Dragon. And strength should not be a problem for that reason too, so I'll just spec into mainly crit damage. But yeah, like this should be pretty good. This is pretty much what I've been running for the last like 100 and something K EXP. I did do a little bit of wolf grinding like during Jerry and even before that. So yeah, I haven't been playing much Skyblock since ever I came back from my long trip, but I'm getting a little bit back into it. There hasn't really been much new stuff, so that's kind of why I've been kind of waiting. You know, maybe the forging update might drop sometime soon. The next storage lock is going to be in a while, probably like a day or so. Not a day, sorry, a week or so. I do have like enough footage, and I have actually I've edited like half of the video already, but there's still a bit to go, and I can't really work on it right now, since I don't have the footage where I am right now, but yeah. I did release a new, like kind of a new style of video earlier today, where I just kind of went into some detail about some stats and some hidden stats that not everyone knows about. Guess you're starving. Yeah, well, unfortunately for you, sounds like a skill issue. But yeah, I'm interested to see how like people, um, yeah, what people think of my new like video. It's quite different to what I've like posted before. I have done like guides before, but they've been mainly been like money making guides. Like I did one for hobby mining, Even did one for Ghost at one point, but I took it down because the Ghost meta ended up like drastically changing basically as soon as I posted it. And yeah, it also wasn't that good, so just decided to take it down. But this is kind of more like a fundamental guide. It's not really about making money or anything. It's more like just trying to give people an understanding kind of how the game works. Which, I don't feel like there's too many people who actually really care about that stuff. But I feel like the end of the video is kind of interesting, no matter what. Like if you play Skyblock at all, I feel like it has some good knowledge in it that you should know. But yeah, most of the time though, it's like, yeah, I don't know. It was fun making it though, and I wanted to make something different than just another storage lock video because I feel like I've made quite a few storage lock videos like in a row now, and yeah, it was just getting a little bit stale. But yeah, I'm also not playing on my storage lock for like a similar reason to that. It's because I already have like quite a lot of content I need to sift through, and I'm not really sure how I like wanna. I know like the next storage lock video is probably gonna be like pretty similar to what I've posted before, but I want to try to like try some new styles with it as well. Because like I don't mind like the whole stream highlights style of video. I feel like they can be quite entertaining, and honestly, there's quite a lot of content in them. But you could break your fast and watch the video. Sounds like a good idea. But yeah, um, yeah, I want to try some new styles because like the whole stream highlight videos, they're fun to make and all, and like I feel like they end up being quite entertaining. But I have heard suggestions that maybe I should record. Okay, that's a coach rune. Yeah. That that's pretty rare. It's pretty rare and very much um completely worthless. About a 1 in 500 base chance. Magic Find obviously boost stats by like quite a lot, so it's probably like 1 in 250 something. Uh, yeah, I don't know. That's kind of unfortunate. It is a lot rarer than the overflux, which we're obviously going for. 126 million would not be a bad amount of money to get, since I am currently kind of broke. I'm not really that broke, I still have plenty of money, but I'm a little broke. And a coach rune, well, what do they go for? They go for 20k coins. Woo, great. Yeah, I feel like that too. The only thing about stream highlights is they take a very long time to like make, because you have to sift through so much footage. And they're going to start taking longer and longer as well, since the progress is going to start slowing down pretty soon. Like, the progress has obviously never been fast, because source locked. But even then, it's gonna, like, just slowly and slowly become slower and slower. It's the same problem that, Fur Drivers faced, for example, and it's the same problem a lot of the Iron Man players in the community kind of start facing. It's also why I kind of want to limit the source lock profile to not be as long as it maybe could be. Um, but it does also mean, if I want to continue with the stream highlights, they're gonna start taking a lot longer. At the end of the day, I probably will still be doing like stream highlights, but I might be making them a little bit more like, I don't know, not as highlighty, like not with as many highlights, and maybe a little bit shorter. So like it's only really the important moments that you see. You don't see as many, random bestiary tiers or random small interesting moments. You know, maybe like raise the bar a little bit for what I include, because I have been kind of including everything so far, which has also kind of been like my idea because I wanted to like document my profile if it makes sense. But I do kind of get that for a lot of people it might not be that interesting to watch every single bestiary level go up. And it's not like I've included every single bestiary level or anything like that, but I have included quite a lot of stuff. Hello, unknown. I've considered more short form content, yeah. Some people have suggested it as well, like making the video shorter, and I probably will make shorter content as well. I don't really know like short if you mean like shorts. I don't really know if how I would like make that. I guess I have some short worthy moments, but I don't know. I don't really know about shorts. The thing about shorts is that they're kind of like a separate area, and like a lot of people have had a lot of success with shorts, but in general, you're either like a YouTuber or you're like a shorts creator, if that makes sense. Like either you like make longer form content as I've kind of been making, or you kind of make shorts only with maybe occasional long form videos. The mix, like, it does work for some people, but it does take a lot of effort to make shorts, and you need to make a lot of shorts to actually get anywhere, if that makes sense. Tutorial shorts. I could actually, yeah, maybe I could make like hyper shorts that are like go through interesting money making methods. That could actually be an interesting idea. Shorts of your longer videos? Yeah. I know a lot of people, like Slat, for example, he just kind of makes shorts out of funny moments in his longer videos, or, he has his stream reacts to like weird things and he makes a lot of shorts out of those, which is quite successful and is going good for him, but yeah. But actually the interesting idea, it's like an interesting idea with making like small mini tutorials and shorts. I could try to do that, like speed running, like this is what you need to make 20 million per hour mining or something, and then like go through a bunch of different money making methods. Because there are a lot of fun money making methods that aren't like really worth going too in depth for and are pretty easy to do, but either because they're not worth going in depth for just because they're pretty simple or just because they're not that like meta. But it could still be like entertaining to show them off. Yeah, that's an interesting idea. I could try to do that. Something like, just doing Wolf Slayer, for example. Because like I'm probably gonna make a video on like a longer form video on Wolf Slayer, but I think I'm gonna make it more as like a bigger video that includes like all the basic Slayers, like Wolf, Spider, and Zombie. Because Wolf Slayer on its own is pretty simple, right? It's just like I run around in circles in the ruins and I hype the floor and then I kill the boss. Yeah, they probably would be relative. The thing about shorts though is like, yeah, they're very short and like you don't need that much content, but there still goes like a lot of work into them. Especially like I would still have to like figure out what money making method I'd want to make a short on. I'd still have to like, maybe not write a script, but I at least have a really good idea of what I want to say. You need a spider tutorial? Yeah. Spider is pretty simple as well. You honestly just kind of do the same as you do in Wolf Slayer, but instead of using melee to kill the bosses, you just hype it. So you run around with full mage gear, try to get as much veteran as possible, and then you just kind of hype everything you see down in the spider's den. It's pretty simple. You can also do it in the Crimson Isle, which is a little different. But more or less, it's just hyping spiders and then hyping the boss as well, because it's the one Slayer boss that's not immune to magic, besides E-Man, obviously. But E-Man, yeah, E-Man meta is very complicated, and it has changed a lot even since I made my E-Man Slayer video, which is kind of crazy. There's a lot of new strategies that's like gets found all the time, just kind of because the admins always kind of tweak things, and it tends to change stuff. I do think you can use the AX to one-tap it, yeah, but it's a lot harder than just like taking the time loss and then hyping the floor. Because I think if you want to do one-taps with the AX, for example, you have to go like complete all out on damage. And you have to use something like a rag axe as well, I'm pretty sure. It's quite hard to one-tap with the AX just because the AX has such slow base damage. But you can one-tap Slayers, and that is a way that people do it, is they use Claymore to one-tap it, or Giant Sword if they have enough stats. Which is technically faster, but you are losing a lot of magic find that way, and honestly, Wolf Slayer can make quite a decent amount of money, both from hamster wheels, which like go for quite a lot. They go for almost 50k a pop, as well as oh, someone dropped Chimera, nice. As well as the overflux, obviously. I've only dropped one overflux, but I used it for my own overflux, so I'm happy with that. Nice magic find. What are they talking about? I'm sitting in hub 1 and just killing Inquisitors this one? Interesting. That's an interesting way of like, I guess that's a good way of getting bestiary, because Inquis bestiary is like one of those bestiaries that like literally one of the hardest bestiaries in the entire game. Like besides maybe ghosts, it's like extremely hard. It takes a really long time. You have to do a lot of Diana, but you do have to do a lot of Diana for like a lot of reasons, just because you need a 10,000 mythological creature kills anyway. And if you're Iron Man, obviously you want to get your hands on Chimera, you have to do so much Diana for that. I did also realize, like, not long ago, I have a Chimera just sitting in one of my chests for some reason, and I don't really know why. I think I dropped it at some point, but I do not remember when, and, like, I don't know. I don't really know what to use it for, because, like, I have Chimera free already on my day axe, so it's still, like, pretty expensive to get that up to 4, for example. Also, okay, he's just doing Diana. I guess I'll let him be. I don't think it's worth swapping lobbies for someone who's just running around doing Diana. I do think I have Inquis alert on, so I guess we could try to like leech an Inquis if someone spawns it. It was Iron Man, so yeah. They did change, or they didn't change it actually, but they clarified the magic find system. So the only magic find that actually matters is whoever spawns its magic find, whereas everyone else's doesn't matter at all. Which I honestly think is a nice system, but for a long time, people were under the impression that that wasn't the case because of like how the magic find text worked. Because it would always show that like the magic find of the player who killed it, even though it apparently wasn't using that magic find, which is kind of weird. But that's kind of how it is with a lot of things in Skyblock. It's also kind of why I wanted to make that stat video that I made today. Um, just to kind of clarify on a few things, because I feel like a lot of people don't really understand how a lot of things work. And I do think I'm gonna go into like more of a, probably like a magic find deep dive. Shorts? Oh my god. You want me to make shorts? Is that it? I think you messed it up though, because it's YouTube Shorts, it's not Shorts YouTube. But yeah. Yes. I see, I see. I'll see what I can do. I probably will. I'll try to make a short at one time. At one point. Shorts of YouTube for real. Fumbled the bag. You totally did. Messed that up so hard, oh my god. Look at him. Or them. Yippee. Okay. I was at 150 million combat XP now, overflow. Dude, look at that. That's crazy. There's no reason to have overflow combat XP, but you know. We can pretend it's the other way around, yeah. We'll just pretend that they did it right, and it's okay. Don't worry. It's fine. We all make mistakes. But yeah. I do think there are also faster ways of doing Wolf Slayer than what I'm doing right now, but because I only am going for like Wolf 9, it's not really worth it, I feel like, to like learn a much faster method, because this one is pretty calm. Like, I know technically if like you go into the park and you do like, you share kill bosses, like you kill each other's bosses with other people, you can do Wolf Slayer quite a lot faster, but the thing is then you have to deal with other people, and I hate doing that. How do you play the video while playing a game? What do you mean? You have two monitors? You just throw it on another monitor. That's what I do. Whenever I'm like playing a Skyblock off screen, I always have like a video running on my other monitor. But if you just want to like listen to it, I guess, and you only have one monitor, you can like alt tab or something. I don't know. Start it, then open your game. There's a lot of ways to have videos running in the background. Yeah. Yes, listen. I'm gonna turn up the game audio a little bit. Seems like it's quite low. Not too much though. We do almost only have 150,000 XP to go, which is honestly really not that much. A single monitor split the screen. It's a little weird to like, isn't it a little weird to have like half of your monitor like filled up by a YouTube video? You're gonna be playing in portrait mode, no? I don't feel like there's many people who like play video games in portrait mode. Yeah. I did also swap to like, I was using before I was actually using 3-4 Sora with a Warden helmet, just because that does actually give you both more magic find but also faster kills, because you end up doing a lot more damage with the Warden helmet. But I ended up swapping out 2 pieces for my God Roll Crimson Chestplate, which is kind of just because it's a pretty, like, it's a slight drop in magic find compared to like a Sword Chestplate, just because it's not magic find 10. But because of the veteran, it's quite a lot better for like slayers in general, just because it deals more damage and it gives you faster spawns because of the veteran. If you're demoted 30% of the screen is wild. Yeah, true. If you have Balloon CG6 updated, you can play in offline, yeah. But if you don't have it updated, I've had this problem a lot when I've like gone on plane travels actually with balloons. If you don't have it updated, it just won't let you boot. It's like needs update or something, and then it's just like infinitely loading. But as long as you have it updated, it's typically not a problem. Yeah. Back to my setup before I got distracted by balloons. But yeah, I ended up also swapping out my helmet. I was running like 3/4 Sora with like just my Crimson Chestplate for a while, but I realized I can abuse the Crimson Swipe if I swap out the helmet, so I am losing a little bit of magic find there, but I'm gaining a little bit of veteran, so I feel like that's worth it. Especially because at this point I'm mostly just going for EXP. Obviously, if you want to make money with any sort of Slayer, you typically have to like absolute maximize your Sorrow or your Magic Find. So Sorrow Armor can be very good, especially for these early game Slayers that are not that difficult to kill. I still run 3/4 Sorrow with, actually no, I won 2 pieces of Sorrow and I won my Crimson Chestplate, and then I won a Warden Helmet for Zombie Slayer, which is quite nice. Is full Jaded Sorrow the spend meta? Oh yeah, for real. No, I think obviously the Sven meta would still be like fully Magic Find Veteran 10 Crimson Armor with Renowned, but that's obviously extremely expensive. But yeah, a good budget option for like a good Wolf Slayer setup is actually just like fully Renowned Sorrow with like a Daedalus Axe and like Black Cat, because it honestly like that alone can give you a crazy amount of Magic Find. Especially since they did the Black Cat change like a while ago, where instead of it being a percentage increase, it's now actually like works as intended. It's crazy, because like, since the beginning, it was always intended that the Black Cat was just supposed to give you 15 Magic Find, but because they kind of like implemented Magic Find kind of weirdly in the beginning, like everything was giving you like percent Magic Find, instead of just being like base Magic Find, it was really inconsistent for a while. And it took them like 2 years after they implemented Magic Find to actually fix Black Cat to be how they intended it to be, which is really weird. But hey, at least it is now as it was supposed to be. It was kind of unfortunate though, because like not long before they fixed it, they introduced the Endermite pet, and was like for a while it was the Petlock meta, which means it was the meta for dropping Ender Dragon pets, but then they changed the Black Cat, so now the Black Cat is meta for that. So a lot of people ended up putting like minus relics on Endermites, and now they're just kind of useless. Am I getting another Zora? Yeah, that's fair. If you're doing Zora with like Shaded though, I feel like you're gonna be struggling with that attack speed and like damage in general though. It might be worth swapping in a couple pieces of Crimson just so you can actually abuse like Crimson Swipe as well. Great. My little brother just came into my room and showing my stream on his phone. Very sweet. But yeah. So 148,000 XP to go. 100k. Yeah, I guess it's fair. Yeah, I guess that's not too long. If you don't really care about boss speed, it makes sense. But obviously, if you want to make good money, you're gonna have to get that boss speed down as low as possible. But I mean, yeah, 150k is not that bad against Sunslayer. Sunslayer was balanced around a meta where like the highest damage per hit you could get was like 70,000. So obviously, having more than that is still like balance-wise overkill. But yeah. I still like remember when Sunslayer came out and I was like wearing full massive sitting in that pawn just grinding away dealing like 20k per hit with a like shaman sword. It was good days, man. It was good days. Gotta vacuum the ceiling. Bye. Okay, good luck with that. But yeah, Sunslayer was like honestly the first Slayer like I ever really did. Because when they released, obviously the if you didn't know, the when Slayer got released, they actually released Spider, Zombie, and Wolf Slayer at the same time. Wolf only had up to tier or like Zombie only had up to tier 4 bosses, but Wolf and Spider haven't seen any changes basically since then. And initially I like gravitated towards Swindler just because it looked, I don't know, it looked like more interesting and more fun to me. Because it had like a different meta than just full superior, where like the other Slayers were just like full superior. So I was interested by that. I wasn't like nearly as good at the game back then either. I had a pretty like subpar setup. So, you know, having like an exclusive gear set for me at least made it like a lot easier to actually do. Wow. Yeah, that's unfortunate. I've made quite a lot of money off Slayer. Almost all of it has been through getting E-Man 9 though. You don't make too much money unless you get really lucky with RNGs. Like, you can make a bit of money off like Zombie Slayer, but generally speaking, you don't make money from like Slayers. It's only really Wolf Slayer that even makes any sort of consistent money just through the hamster wheels. But other than that, like, Slayers really don't make solid money. Getting given chips. Thank you, little brother. I got chips now. You're gonna hear me jumping on chips. Mmm, that sounded fantastic, right? I'm back to being an ASMR streamer. Nice. Spider Slayer is like really weird because like none of the RNGs are like worth anything because like they're really not that useful. But like back in the day, Spider Slayer made so much money because Mosquito Flesh was like worth 80 mil, and Tarantula Talismans were also worth like 30 mil. It was crazy. Chip ASMR for real. But yeah, over time though, since like the Hyperion got introduced, all the drops just like fell so much in price. Especially because then later on, like the Mosquito Bow got nerfed. I don't actually know if it got nerfed. It just got outclassed by short bows and like the Juju Bow and like the Terminator. So it ended up being like pretty much useless. So the Mosquito Flash was just like useless as well. Like the only use the Mosquito Bow actually has is for museum donation at this point, which is kind of sad, but that's just kind of what happens with older items that don't see any like buffs or anything. Oh, nice. Getting Spider 9 at a profit is honestly a pretty good deal. I think I like maybe broke even or something. I didn't really sell any of the loot I got from Spider. Getting Spider 9 was the first thing I did when I got my Hyperion for the first time. Because I had been putting it off until then. I had gotten like Spider 8 just because of the dodge mix-in. which is quite useful for like Demon Slayer, even though it doesn't really work half the time, but it made a difference for me at least. That was without hype. Yeah, that's fair. Hyperion is expensive. And like, I am a firm believer in the fact that you can't play the game without a Hyperion. You can do pretty much everything a Hyperion can. The only places where you really struggle is like Kudra, like high tier Kudra. Hello Albino and hello Ace, how are you doing today? There's a Python good for Spider? Yeah. I mean, even Terminator can be really good for Spider, just like base Terminator. But like, I got it from Melee actually. I don't remember how I spawned. I think I ended up spawning with like my Terminator, because I had my Terminator pretty early on. I kind of rushed Terminator. Mainly because I got really lucky and dropped my first core like 10 bosses after Demon Slayer 7. So I just kind of ended up getting it like right then and there, but yeah. My Terminator has been like my most used weapon ever. Do I like pineapple and pizza? I prefer my pizzas without pineapple, but I do like pineapple in burgers. That tastes really good. Yeah. Yeah. Terminator can do a crazy amount of damage, especially with high velocity. I remember when I initially got it, and I wanted to test it out in dungeons, because I ended up like crafting it from base, so I didn't have any enchants on it. And I had just started, and you know, I had put the basic enchants on it, I had reforged it, and I took it into like a floor 6 run. I'm pretty sure I've told this story before, but I don't think you were here when I did. And like, I was just like clearing, you know, it was like, it was fine. Like, it wasn't anything crazy. Like, it was good. It was definitely better than what I had before, but it wasn't crazy. But at the end of the run, I was like, okay, I mean, this is a nice upgrade, but it's nothing crazy. And then I realized that I hadn't dungeonized it. So all this time, I was running around in floor 6 with a base term, like a pretty minimally enchanted Terminator with a reforge on it, without it being dungeonized. And it was doing better than my previous best weapon, which was a Shadow Fury. Um, and that's the moment when I kind of realized, oh my god, this weapon is busted. When's the next Doors Lock video? It's probably going to be out by next week. Probably like Tuesday or Monday next week. Like skill capes. You're bored in Hypixel? Yeah, that's fair. Hypixel can get a little bit boring. I haven't been playing too much Skyblock lately either. Anchovies. Anchovies and pizza. I have had anchovies and pizza, and I honestly kind of enjoyed it. It's been pretty nice. But yeah. Terminator is like crazy. Yeah. Just for reference, you know, you can see my damage. Outside of dungeon, it's 371. In dungeons, when dungeonized, it's like 1,309. So it's literally like a 5 to 4 times damage boost, which is kind of crazy. And it cap, yeah. You can get pretty easy like skill capped in Skyblock. There's a lot of like things in Skyblock that does require a lot of skill, but there's also things that are like just out of your control. Like you just need to get better gear, or you just need to do it a little bit longer, you know? Stuff like mining, for example, like in Dilla mining, you could, for example, get quite like a lot better, but most mining methods today have a pretty hard cap, and you really can't improve much. Like once you reach pretty much like at 90, you can get to like 90% of like your rates, or the theoretically possible rates, pretty easily, especially if you're good ping. But yeah, otherwise it's you can't really improve much in like mining. But there's a lot of places where you can still improve pretty much. Especially in stuff like late game slayers, like E-Man and Blaze Slayer, you can improve quite a lot. As well as in dungeons and Kutra, honestly. You have like 1400 hours and no good weapons. Damn, that's unfortunate. Yeah, and the extra crit chance, yeah. Alright. That also helps quite a lot. It's not as crazy as like the extra damage, but obviously any crit chance with Terminator does help a lot. Because it doesn't get amplified by your your dungeon level. The only thing it gets amplified from is like stars. Because there's two types of stats when you're looking at in dungeons. There's like bonus attack speed, there's like crit chance, and I think ferocity as well, which are all stats that does get improved by getting dungeonized, but they don't get improved as much as stuff like crit damage, strength, and your damage, because crit damage, strength, and damage actually gets improved by your catacombs levels as well, on top of like just getting improved by being dungeonized, which means they can get improved a lot more drastically. Good night, Mr. Ace. There's a lot of good weapons in the game. I feel like limiting it to just term and hype is a little bit small. Stuff like the Atom Split, for example, I definitely consider a good weapon as well, since it's very much meta for melee Demon Slayer at least. Something like Midas Stab is also very much a very good weapon. That also have its niche in different metas. The same with the Rogue Sword. Honestly, the Rogue Sword is a pretty good weapon. Like, unironically, it's pretty good. Like, you don't use it too much in combat, but honestly, in early game dungeons, for example, that speed boost you get from the Rogue Sword, pretty nice. Like a mage weapon, yeah. I literally didn't have a mage weapon until I got my hype either. I literally didn't even have, like, Storm or Aurora armor when I got my hype. So I had to like buy Storm and Aurora, and I don't actually have Storm yet. The only set I have is this like extremely basic Aurora set that I literally don't even have fully recommed, and I have no gems in it or anything. My mage setup is extremely bare bones. And Spirit Scepter? Spirit Scepter is like pretty good. I don't have a Spirit Scepter. I've never actually owned a Spirit Scepter. But I am planning to like use Spirit Scepter for my storage lock profile, because it's the only real good weapon I can get my hands on reliably. Better than mine, 4-star Aurora, defeat that. That goes pretty hard though, not gonna lie. 4-star Aurora. That's like almost as many stars as you can put on like a Terminator, for example. Actually, that's a lie. You can put Master Stars on a Terminator, but like, unlike a, you can't even. Is there anything you can star that you can't put like Master Stars on, other than like Kudra gear? I don't actually think there is. Is there? No, I don't think there is, right? Because the only other items you can star are dungeon items, right? I'm pretty sure. But I mean, the thing about mage armor is like, yeah, it's good if you star it, and obviously it gets a lot better, just because the stats increase, especially your EHP gets a lot better. But it's not as important to star as other gear, because the Reforge matters a lot more for mage than it does for melee. Like Ancient, for example, is really, really good, and it does matter a lot, but the thing about Crimson armor, and the reason why it's so good to star, is because the strength and the crit damage goes up by a lot, which means it matters a lot more for your damage. And while it's very good, obviously, to star your Aurora on mage, a lot of the reason why you're doing it is honestly just to get better EHP, because you really struggle with EHP whenever you're playing mage. Otherwise, otherwise, obviously, your intelligence does improve by starring it, and obviously you should, and it will improve your damage as well, but it's not as much of a drastic damage increase as you'll experience if you like star your Crimson armor a whole lot. Which is also due to a mechanic called ability scaling, which is kind of interesting, but I go into more detail on that in my latest video, so if you want to know about ability scaling, you should watch that. 600 magical power? Yeah, it's pretty hard. I've focused a lot on my magical power, and I've generally been pretty efficient with it. Which has helped me out a lot, like throughout the game. Like, it carried me so hard all the way up until I got my hype. Because having high magical power just allows you to, like, cut corners in so many ways, and it can allow you to be overkill in, like, damage, for example. Which, for example, for Demon Slayer is a massive help, because that means that you can, like, kind of let your damage carry, and you can sacrifice a whole lot more EHP than you otherwise would be able to. That's fair. You can definitely get by without a hype. Um, Bruh. Okay. Second RNG of the stream. Grizzly salmon. Let's check. Let's have a drop chance check real quick. Rarer than rarer than over rarer than capacitor. Rarer than capacitor. It's rarer than capacitor by like 50%. Are you kidding? Oh my god. Yeah. Whatever. It's fine. Everything's fine. I've only dropped like 7 of these or something. I swear to God. I have a chest. I think actually, like, still, I have an ender chest page just dedicated. I think it's like one of these. I like cleaned out my backpacks a long while ago. Also, I'm getting destroyed by an old wolf. I cleaned out my backpacks a long while ago, and I don't think I've ever like updated it in this. Yeah, yeah. I have this ender chest page that's just like filled with RNGs, and I got like 4 claw eggs. This is all from like one session of Wolf Slayer. Oh my god. I'm getting 236 magic finds on my kills right now. I can definitely get more, but I'm not really optimizing for magic find too hard. I have some equipment pieces I could swap out, and obviously I could run full sorrow if I wanted to get absolute max magic find, but it's not really worth it for me since I just want to get kills mainly. I'm going for the Wolf EXP. Because I have better methods of earning money than doing Wolf Slayer, so. Obviously, I'm not like trying to slack on my magic find. That's why I'm not going for one shots, for example. Because I could potentially go for one shots because I do have a giant sword right here, which I could try to one tap with. Probably wouldn't be too bad, but I think the like plus 60 or something magic find I'm getting from my Daedalus axe is much more worth it. Really? I've never heard of that, but you might be right. There's been quite a few bugs with RNG meter, especially like in dungeons. There has also been bugs with RNG meters for like Slayers as well, where like you just like sometimes don't get your drop even though you have a guaranteed drop. You can't really play with me now. Wolf Slayer is very much a solo task. I have a private hub as well, so I don't really want to let people into it because it could open it up. There was a guy doing mythological rituals here earlier, but yeah, I don't know, he left. I could potentially swap to doing a little bit of Diana because it has been a while, but I don't know. I want to get to at least like 5k, like 125k left on my Wolfslayer XP before I do anything else. Because I need to still do a couple sessions of Wolfslayer before I can get 12-9. Yeah, I mean, that's fair enough, I guess, but the thing about RNG things is that they're extremely hard to test, just because, you know, it's RNG. So you need an incredibly, especially with those really rare drops such as core and overflux capacitors and like all the rare drops basically, you need an incredibly large like sample size to actually see if like stuff is working or not. But yeah. Generally, I feel like the better thing to do, like, obviously if something is known to be bugged, like confirmed by admins or something, it can be a good idea to like obviously take that into account. But personally, I try not to like worry about what's like, you know, if something could be bugged or not. I just go by the assumption that it isn't, and then hey, maybe I get a little bit more unlucky or something, but whatever. It's like Tuke. Yeah, okay. I mean, that's a large sample size, but that could also just be because he has better magic find. And it can still, at that point, it can still be he's just getting more lucky. There's people who have like Kata 60, for example, who have dropped like 3 times as many handles as they realistically should have done in the amount of runs that they've done. People do get like ridiculously lucky sometimes. One of the highest net worth players on the server is like a guy who's done like 1,007 runs and dropped like 8 handles or something crazy. So some people do just like consistently get more lucky than others. What you should more like be looking at is something like a really common drop. If you want to test stuff like that, like if RNG meter works and stuff like that, you should be looking at more common drops, because those you can very quickly get a much larger sample size of, and then you can actually like get much more like realistic data, if that makes sense. Because if something has a higher frequency of happening, it's like it's statistics. I'm not gonna go too hard into it, but basically the more common something is, the more likely you can see like the deviation and like its rarity, right? Like if something happens 50% of the time, or is supposed to happen 50% of the time, but you know, over you do it 100 times and then it happens like 75% of the time, you can see that it's very much like you know, there's probably something wrong then. Whereas, you know, if you do something that's supposed to happen 1 in 500 times and you do it 100 times and then it happens once, then you very much could just have gotten very lucky, right? But that, you know, doesn't necessarily mean that the actual drop rate is 1% instead of a fifth of a percent. Yeah, maybe. It could be bugged. It wouldn't surprise me, but I don't know. I'm just gonna pretend it isn't. The only thing I truly know is that I know at least the RNG meter for dungeons isn't bugged. Because that has had, like, for long periods of time where, like, the meta has literally been, like, in M4, for example, it's been, like, manipulating it in certain ways to guarantee that you get, or, like, give you the highest chances of dropping actually rare and good stuff. Skyblock will always be Skyblock, nothing to change that. Yeah, true. Skyblock has always been a little scuffed. Which is a shame, but it's just kind of how it has to be because it's in Minecraft, right? If they had their own game engine and like they were running it as like a standalone game, like you know RuneCraft or RuneScape or World of Warcraft is, it can be a lot easier to develop and bugs are a lot like harder to create. They're still easy to create. Obviously, buggy code has always been a problem in like every game ever. Like, did you play Cyberpunk on launch, for example? But yeah, yeah. I do believe that. That does sound like something you would be able to do. Also, my bone sack filled up apparently. There's a pretty big gap. Didn't they roll out like the crafting update actually, where you could like hypercraft? Can you reci re is it like recipe bones? Where you can. Ooh, wait, I can make a boomerang? I don't think I can. But enchanted bone here. If I like hypercraft this, right click to set amount. How many could I do? I could probably do like 1,000? No, 100? Can I do 100? Yes. Oh, look at that. That's the first time I've used this feature. Nice. So now I can sell them for like a lot more. It's still only like 80k, not really worth it, but hey, we used a new feature. Let's go. That's like the one new thing they've done the past 2 months, as well as redoing god potions, but hey. Yeah, that's just, you know, something different. Oh, and then filled instantly. Nice. The super crafting feature is kind of interesting, but I feel like the main use is for people who like Bazaar Flip, for example. It definitely makes a lot of opportunities to Bazaar Flip, because a lot of like the smaller volume items that before were like too low value to be worth it, just because you had to spend so much time crafting them up, you can do a lot faster now with the super crafting, but yeah. It will also help like people, like miners, for example. It will help quite greatly, just because there's a lot of like up compacting, for example, with gemstones. You have to compact those up. Yeah, you can. You can like, if you have something you want to craft, you can type slash recipe and then like the item you want to craft. So if I wanted to craft enchanted bones, for example, oh, whoops, enchanted bones, or bone. I could do this, I think. That's not how you spell enchanted. That's how you spell enchanted. There we go. Yeah, and you can see I have these here, and then I can just choose the bones, and you can see here. I have apparently 4,000 enchanted bones in my sack, so I can right click this, and I can write like 20. And yeah, now I can craft 20, and then it crafts 20 from my sack, and now I only have 1,000 in there. Very nice. So it's very good for like up compacting, you know, smaller, low like value items, like basically any sort of like base items, such as like, you know, low tier gemstones or, you know, unenchanted forms of logs or raw materials. It's very useful for that. You can also use it to like mass craft certain like items such as amalgamated crimsonite. Which if you like, I think, yeah, if I just search it up, amalgamated crimsonite, this stuff, this stuff is a pain to craft. Yeah, okay, you can't really see it here because it's not loading, but it's a pain. Yeah, wait, there it is. This is the crafting recipe. This is rough. There's two recipes. Like it's not too bad, but because there's so many different types of items, it can be quite hard to like. It can be quite annoying to craft. But yeah. Also, that's why enchanted red sand cubes got up in price. Wow, I was wondering why enchanted red sand cube has been rising in price, but I guess that's because you can craft amalgamated crimsonite with it now. Enchanted red sand cubes used to not like have any use besides upgrading the minion, but it rose in price, so I guess that's why. Pain incarnate. Yeah, true. It used to be at least, especially for Iron Man players who were like forced to craft it themselves, and like it's still a pain for a lot of Iron Man players because you need blaze rods, and blaze rods on Iron Man has always been a pain. Because like you can't really grind them on your own. Like you can do Blaze Slayer for example, and um, you will get some amount of blaze rods from it, but you basically have to do it all by minions, and obviously minions are time locked, which is a pain. And with the mycelium, yeah, probably. I didn't know they added that. I've. When did they add that recipe? I have no clue. But yeah. That's kind of what the supercrafting feature. It's called supercrafting, the thing where you like type out the recipe and stuff. That's kind of what its main use is for items like those. But I feel like it can definitely have a lot of use with bazaar flippers or people who like do craft flipping and stuff. Because you can do a lot of craft flipping a lot faster, and like you can well, you can easily script, for example, which is not good. Don't script crafting. That's bad. Not allowed. Don't do it. But if you were to be bad and play the game unethically, you could, you know, just script it, but you wouldn't do that, right? That wouldn't be something no one would do. No one would do that. It's not like Sorrows are worth like half of what they used to be because there's people macroing it all the time. Oh no, Sorrows are at 235k when they used to be at 600k. Oh no, I wonder how that happened. Macros. Yeah. The truth about Zara though is that they've been dropping for a while. Uh, it's not just macros. There's a lot of macros, and there's been a lot more macros as well because it got added to bestiary, but there's other reasons why Zora's dropped in price. And it's kind of a combination between bestiary and just the Crimson Swipe getting fixed. Because what it kind of has led to is that a lot of later game players need the bestiary for ghosts, which is like the hardest bestiary to max in the entire game. So obviously they macro it instead because no one fucking catches macros anymore. But otherwise, it's because the Crimson Swipe got bugged, or was bugged for like forever, or like not bugged, or whatever. It didn't work like the admins intended it to. And so they fixed it like 5 times. But in that process, they added another bug that meant that now when you like hit with it, it deals like 3 times the amount of damage it's supposed to. Which means that people who were already using Crimson Swipe for ghosts, which everyone was, because it was the meta, it meant that like now they could just one tap them with like half the gear of what they needed before. So it's been like moved from a really late game money making method to a pretty early game mid game method just because like of Crimson Swipe getting fixed, which was kind of crazy. I wouldn't go for Ancient Sora, I'd go for Renowned Sora if you ever intend on getting like a combat set for Sora. Because there's really no reason to get Ancient on Sora, because you're obviously only using it for Magic Find, and you're never using it in dungeons anyway. Oh no, it's not the implosion effect. You can't use magic damage um, on ghosts, but let me see if I can actually... I don't think I can get a swipe on any of these because they have too low health, but I can show it on a boss, actually. I can show it when I spawn a boss. Not a mini-boss, but the actual boss itself. I can kind of show what I'm talking about when I'm saying that Crimson Swipe got fixed. Because I do actually think it's intended that it works on magic, but it might get fixed just because it's kind of overpowered and has led to some kind of weird metas, but who knows what the admin will do. Personally, I don't think it should, honestly, because it's a melee set. It's supposed to work on melee. There's no reason for it to work on mage, who is already the most overpowered class in the game, but whatever. Anyway, this is what I'm talking about. You see how he went like from 2 million health all the way down to like 1 million health from a single hit? That's the Crimson Swipe right there. I don't do that much damage. With a single hit, I only do like 250k. Even if you double that to account for the Crimson Swipe, that's nowhere near a million damage. And I did just do 1 million damage in a single hit. I know that also included Venomous and it also included Fire Aspect, but the Crimson Swipe is doing like about 2 to like 1.5 to 2 times your actual damage, which means your damage gets like tripled whenever you have Crimson Swipe active per hit. But that is then compensated for it having an increased cooldown. So instead, before Crimson Swipe would activate on every single hit, now it has like a very short cooldown, where it like only activates every third hit or something. So the actual damage when you're like doing Slayers and stuff is pretty much the same, but because it has a higher single hit damage, it just means it's way easier to use on ghosts. I love when melee sets do more magic damage than mage sets. Yeah, too. I think it's kind of stupid. It is really weird that like the Crimson Swipe ability is like, I'm glad it's good because it's like the only reason melee has any chance of being good ever. But on the other hand, it's like, yeah, but it's so good that it's also the best for mage, which is like already absolutely broken. So it's not like, I don't feel like they should just buff Aurora to actually make Aurora the better mage set. I feel like they should just make it so Crimson Swipe doesn't work with magic. Because why does it work with magic? It's kind of pointless. But I mean, hey, a bunch of people have invested in like magic regen mana pool Crimson sets. So like, I don't know, they'd probably be kind of mad if it got removed, but I just think it's kind of stupid. It's broken in both ways, true. Crimson Swipe has probably been the most broken ability in the entire history of Skyblock. And it's still like one of the least understood abilities at all. Just because it's so random in what it does. Like sometimes you do 4 times the damage you're supposed to, other times it like does no damage. Sometimes it procs out Venomous and Fire Aspect, other times it doesn't. And they've like multiple times they said that like it no longer procs out Venomous, but it does. So it's like, what is going on? Just transfer it to the Aurora set, no problem. Oh my god, could you imagine that? Crimson, oh my god. Crimson Swipe on Aurora. Holy shit, that would be so broken in Kudra. That would be absolutely insane. You could like one-tap Kudra mobs. Oh my god. You could like one-tap a tier 4 Enderman with Midas Spoon at that point. Holy shit. I don't think there was a time when it wasn't bugged. Yeah, true. It's also like supposed to increase your range, but like it like doesn't. It like does in the stats, and I think it works in dungeons, for example. But like outside of dungeons, the string range thing just kind of doesn't work at all. But hey, whatever. Make it so term has Crimson Swipe. True. It's +1 block. Yeah, I know, but it's like it doesn't work though, cause like that's normal melee range, no? Like maybe it's so subtle that I'm just like maybe like I feel like that's just normal range though. I don't know. Maybe I've been playing too much Skyblock. Maybe that's just like the normal range for me, but I don't feel like that's an extra block. I don't think melee range really works on 1.8 at least. It might work in future versions, but I'm not actually sure. Even if you gave Term Crimson Swipe though, it wouldn't be that broken because how Swipe works, it multiplies like high. It's really good with like high instances of damage because it has that small cooldown, which means it's really good if you do like big chunky hits because then it will multiply that up by a bunch. But because Terminator does a whole bunch of smaller hits, it's not that crazy. Um, it wouldn't be that crazy because like Crimson Swipe would then only be proccing off like a 200k hit. So even though you're doing like 15 200k hits per second, Crimson Swipe could maybe only proc twice, which means like the overall damage increase wouldn't be that crazy. And I still think the damage increase you're getting from something like the Hydra Strike ability would be a lot better. Just because that's a percentage damage increase that like applies to every hit instead. But maybe it would be better just because Crimson does have better like damage stats than Terra does. So maybe high tier Crimson would be like better if it got Crimson Swipe to term. I don't think it should. Don't put Crimson Swipe on term. But I mean, hey, while they're at it, they might as well just like make the most overpowered ability in game work and everything. Bring Dominus Swipe to drills. This is my pitch. Drilling has been mining has been way too boring for way too long, and it could all be fixed by making it combat. So make Crimson Armor meta for mining. Devon's armor is ugly and gold. Ew. You make Dominus work on drills. Make it triple my mining fortune. Please. Make me have to use one set of armor for everything in the game, ever. Make Khalib work on farming, yes. Make my hoe have Crimson Swipe. Make it, like, harvest everything on my farm at once. And combine that with the Flying Pig bug. That would be crazy. Oh my god, you could harvest so many crops. Imagine you just have like an 8x8 lane of crops, and you're just flying over it with the Flying Pig mount. And you're just, like, harvesting everything. You'd be an actual, like, combine. Hi, El Qwerty. How? What? Whoa, 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 whoa! Calm down. What's going on? That's true. That's true. You could combine Terra and Crimson. That's true. I didn't think about that. The thing about Hydrostrike though is it gets better the more pieces of Terra you're wearing. Like the damage bonus it gives, it gets better the more pieces of Terra you're wearing. It's not like Crimson Swipe or the Aurora thing, where it like doesn't get better or like the duration just increases. It actually gets better the more pieces you're wearing. Hello, brother. Hello. You were freaking out. Yeah. In all my rambling, we are almost at my 125k goal actually, so maybe we could swap over to doing some Diana afterwards. That could be quite interesting. We haven't been working for too long. I think, what did we start? I think we started at like 150k EXP, maybe a little over that. Oh, okay, yeah, we started at like 160k EXP. And I've been live for like an hour, so that's pretty good EXP rates, honestly. I've almost got 40k EXP in an hour, like 35k. That's not too bad. Oh wait, I have like a calculator up here that tells me it. Oops. Although the calculator tends to be like kind of inaccurate, because it jumps all over the place. It doesn't have a very big sample size. I think it only takes into account like the last 5 bosses you've done or something. And it breaks if you die to the boss as well, because it's like just counts it as a kill. Want more chips? No, I'm good. No worries. I'm blind? What happened? Did I say something? I probably said something. My bad. I'm over 38% of the way to a guaranteed overflux score, so I guess that's something. Don't know if I'll ever get it, because, like, I don't think I'm gonna do Wolf Slayer beyond level 9. Because, like, it's fun and kind of chill, but I'd rather do something like Human Slayer at that point. About the speed calculator. Oh, yeah. Oops, yeah. True. Yeah. I use all of these mods, but like half the time I don't even look at the information they provide. Like, I don't know why I have this here. Because like it says this in chat every single time I get a kill anyway. So it's like, what's the point? Why do I have that? I don't know. Why do I have this Thunder thing? I've literally used it like once. I don't know. The day one I can't explain because it's actually useful for mining when you're finding lobbies. The rest of these three is like I look at it sometimes maybe, but like it doesn't matter. The TPS I do use though. It's nice knowing the TPS just so you can like quickly gauge if a server is lagging or like you're lagging or something. It doesn't tell you you or the server is lagging, it just tells you there's lagging, like something's lagging, but it's still like a nice thing to have just to get a sanity check whenever something weird happens. You can kind of look at it and see that it drops, and then you can be justified in raging at the game and saying it's not your own fault. Exactly. The only reason they're there is so I can blame something else other than myself whenever I encounter a skill issue in like 4-7. Because I'm obviously the best Dungeons player in the world. Like, have you seen my 4-7 gameplay? That shit is crazy. I go so hard in 4-7. I don't troll terms at all. I don't do devices at all as a tank. I'm crazy. Like, I don't throw runs left, right, and center, even though I am like massively overgeared for floor 7. I'm like the best player in the game. You know, it's just my FPS that lags. Okay, my TPS bad, my internet bad. It's EU ping. Okay, exactly. It's because my minimum FPS frames they dropped to 90 instead of 100. I can't play the game. I do want to do Diana actually. The more I think about it, the more I want to do Diana. And the setup is very similar. I basically just need to take out my ancient spades and swap out my warden helmet with my or yeah, swap out my warden helmet with my crimson helmet. And then I have literally like the setup I use for Diana, pretty much. I should swap out the implosion belt though, because I wouldn't be using that. Molten cloak is right. The glowstick on it, I should probably also swap out, just because veteran does nothing. But yeah, I think I'm just gonna call the grinding here, and then I'll obviously swap out these rules. This one I do want to have active. It is active, great. And then whenever I kill a mythological creature, when? Wait, what? Uh, I'm pretty sure it's this one. I equipped this golden dragon. When? Oops, when? When? Great game, Hypixel. Good job. That could potentially be like a mod, but I think they just kind of forgot to put text there. Damn. That sounds like a malfunctioning mod, though, to be honest. A lot of like weird FPS drops are just caused by bad mods, like bad mod behavior. Also, oh, look, I'm Steve. Oh, I'm good now. I really like this skin. It's the only skin like I have active on anything I own, but I really like it. I don't know why. It's like also really fucking expensive, but I bought it for real money, so at least my purse didn't get hurt. Just my bank account did, but we don't talk about my bank account. That's fine. I'm gonna be making money off YouTube totally or something. Also, yeah, I don't really know what to swap out from my cloak because I honestly don't really have any good cloaks. Or not cloak, sorry, my belt. It's like my glistening ender belt is like the best one I have. I have some molten belts here, which I guess give me more strength, which could be useful. But other than that, I really don't have a lot. 10 million coins? It's some money. It's not that much. You can make more than that. Hello, Cookie. worst. Yeah. I probably this one is probably the best one I have just because it has dominance and it gives me more strength and defense than the other one does. But I mean, I could also just stick with the implosion belt and try to like hype down some of the lower tier mobs, but I don't know if that's worth it. I don't think it is. Yeah. I think I'll just swap to this belt. It's not gonna make any huge difference, but I guess it's something. Also, I forgot I need to swap my gauntlet as well. For my gauntlet, I do have the Magma Lord gauntlet. I did swap it to Snowy though, because I kind of stopped using it for combat, just because I've had other gears like this Molten Bracelet I used quite a bit. But I do think it's a better option, just because it gives me a little bit of ferocity, which is nice. And it's not like veteran really matters. The vitality could be nice, but it's not that important. And the Molten Cloak is the same, yeah. I think this is what I want to run. How much do I have? In my bank right now, I have 613 million and then 96 million in my personal bank for some reason. I do actually want to move that over because I will get more damage that way. I don't know that. Oh, wait. No, I should be using the speed thing, actually. I forgot because I'm running Warden Helmet. Right? No, actually, I am hitting 200 speed anyways. I guess it doesn't matter. Why am I hitting 200 speed? Why do I have so much speed? Oh, because of Aspect of the Void? That's still active? I thought they patched that. I guess they didn't. Oh no, I just... Oh wait, yeah, no, I don't. I'm missing 10 speed. Ah, that might be better to do with 200 points though. Yeah, no, I'll just stick with what I have now. It's fine. It's not like it's gonna matter much. Let's throw out these critical books because I only have like 10 at home. Um, yeah, I wanted to swap out the coins, so I'll take like 80 million out of here. Not 80 coins. 80 million coins, like that. And then I'll put it all in here, just to boost my damage a little bit. 100 million minions. I haven't actually connected my minions either. I completely forgot to do that. Thank you for reminding me. I have like, these have been sitting down forever. Yeah, they have like 5 mil each. Oh my god. I'm really glad that cube prices went up, because if they hadn't, these would have just wasted a whole bunch of money. It's interesting that the Soulflow engines are still the ones that are making more than like my tier 12s, but it's fine. There's so much money in here. Oh my god. I had not been emptying these like at all the past couple of weeks. Oh my god. Yeah, like 3.8 mil, even the small ones. Not bad. We need some interest for real. Also, I have this potato minion that I'm working, but I only claim him during derpy, because I use him for farming XP. Because I'm really lazy and hate farming. I could potentially actually fill him up with catalysts, because I do have a bunch of catalysts just, or like crystal shards just sitting around. So I have some coins in here. I'll just quickly collect. Not as much as the other minions, but still a decent amount. I think I collected them more recently. And yeah, this guy will give me a little bit of combat XP, so I will make sure to equip at least my golden dragon, but I could swap to like veteran setup, but it's not really that worth it, because it's not that much anyway. Yeah. I'm not sure if it's worth having a lesser soul flow engine in this guy, but I do think it is, because, I mean, blaze rods aren't that necessary for anything. Obviously, you need for amalgamated crimsonite, but that is pretty much the only thing they're useful for. And yeah, the crimson rods, or the blaze rod have also gone up in price due to that change, I'm pretty sure. We'll also quickly just dump some stuff at... Oh my god. Look at this! I have 4 grizzly baits! I've dropped like, I think 2... no, I think I've dropped 1. 1 overflux power up. I've dropped 4 grizzly salmons. Wait, they renamed it to grizzly salmon? What the fuck? Okay. Scammed. Also, hamster wheels and red claws. I have so many weird oranges in here. I only have 7 million in foul flesh just sitting here for some reason. I have 6 million in Revenant Viscera. If you go through my chest, I have so many random chests where it's just like casually 500 million coins in this one. Big brain books, a plasma thing. Like, it's just weird as drops. I have a weird mist chest down here that just says 9 million, like a bunch of weird things, like 11 power crystals. Speaking of power crystals, I don't have my beacon active. Might as well power that. It is on Magifine, yeah. And I have like 80 million coins worth of griffin feathers here, and like 45? No, that's not real. That's not real either. But yeah, then I just have a casual chimera here, just sitting because apparently I do. And then I have my skin chest, which is also like 1 billion coins. And then I have my other skin chest, which is like, oh, it's only 90 million, but no, that's because my calculator is wrong. The Grand Freezing rune itself is worth 72, and then I have a Spellbound rune which is worth 80, and then the Meow runes which are worth 100 million for some reason. I don't know why these went up so much in price. These were like worth 30 million before I left for my trip. What the hell happened? I don't know. But now they're like 100 million each, so this is like another 700 million. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, I have a lot of money. We'll also quickly check here. Yeah. I could sell the Soulflow. I probably should do that just to improve my Golden Dragon Bank, because it's still not doing great. Also sold a whole bunch of transmission tuners, because they went up to like 90k yesterday, and I don't know why. I don't know why they were worth 90k, but I mean, I take it. That's like free money. We take those. Also, I still have this guy. So it apparently didn't deposit. Yeah. Oh wait, I have 2 vampire minions down because it was going too slow. Hemovive Ape! Ape. 8. Not even halfway to Hemovive 9, but hey, we got Hemovive Ape 9. Ape. 8 now, which is exciting. Can I upgrade this guy? No. I probably can actually with the stuff I have in here. Yeah, definitely. Should I? Should I upgrade him? I'm not sure if it's worth upgrading. Perhaps a manipulator of the market. Yeah, maybe. The thing about a lot of demon drops is like they're really bipolar. Like they sometimes they go up a lot, and other times they're just like the same for weeks. It's pretty random. Oh, let's just upgrade this guy. 150,000 carpentry speed. Oh my god! And apparently that was enough to actually level me up. Hey, look at that. Level 310. Only 10 levels off the purple thing? Yeah, the pink level prefix, which is really cool. I do want to get that, but eh. I could like craft minions just to get there, but I don't think that's really that interesting. W for real. That would have been a content moment if I was playing on Source Locked. But I'm not, so it's not. Anyway, um, yeah, I think we're ready for our Diana now. I do have to take out my ancestral spade, which I will just put here because there's no reason to use a term. And then I have some slowness potions over here that I almost forgot about. These are very useful for the actual, like, Inquisitors, because they just stun them, then they can't move at all. Extra slot? Yeah. Yeah, I just got an extra inventory slot, guys. Let's go. I just don't mind that I have like 1,000 inventory slots used right now. Also, Twilight Arrow Poison is like 5 mil there. Yeah. Twilight Arrow Poison also is very bipolar, as well as Frozen Baubles. These are also like so bipolar. There's so many items that are just like. Also, I have a stack of tarantulas. Why do you have a stack of tarantula silk just sitting here? The fuck? Why did I buy a stack of tarantula silk? You have like 3 Hydra water Hydra heads over here. What? I need to empty out some of my stuff. Bunch of fisherman and fishing speed shards, cause like I was going for like a fisherman rod at some point. Still have my gifts of learning, which I haven't used. Some refined diamonds and a perfect topaz, because apparently that's it. It's clearly blue gas, true. Yeah, I do. I was like really happy personally of seeing them rise because I am a resident fisher, or I was. I haven't fished too much, but all the way up to fishing 50, I was like a resident fisher. I really didn't stop fishing for like ever. The only reason I stopped fishing was because it didn't make any money. But now like there's a lot of ways to actually make money off fishing, which is very exciting. I fished a lot last winter, I remember, which was really good money because like. Also, wait. Ooh. Ooh, wait, now I remember why I didn't do Diana. Ooh, yeah, now I remember why I didn't do Diana. I just remembered, my Soupy mod is broken. Soupy isn't working for Diana for some reason. If we go into like mythological rituals, uh, yeah, it doesn't, it, it's not working. Slash toggle music. Oh, that might be right, yeah. Wait. Wait, no, that was just because I was close enough, right? Um, it's not working. Is it because I have animations off? It was! Yeah, let's go. It's working. Great. We found it. Yeah, I remember because I wanted to do Diana when I came back during like Jerry, but yeah, I couldn't because it like wasn't working. But yeah, we figured out the reason. Let's go. Also, I remember doing more damage, but that might just be because I used to have more bank and like a better golden dragon. I think that's it actually. Yeah, I'm doing like 1.1 million per hit, which is like decent, but that's only because the Daedalus axe got buffed by Taming 60 getting released. Oh, hey, look at that! The first drop at Dwarf Turtle Summit. They're kind of worthless at this point. They used to be like a million coins per, but nowadays they're like 300k, which is kind of sad, but hey, it's something at least. At least Griffin feathers are still decent money. I'm kind of holding on to my Griffin feathers right now though, because like, I don't know. I just don't really need the money that desperately right now. That was fast, yeah. I'm getting a lot of Magic Find though, you gotta remember that. Also because of the Bestiary update, like, you're getting a lot of drops. Um, just because like you're getting an extra 50 or 40 Magic Find per kill as well, just from the Bestiary update itself. And I do have a pretty good Magic Find setup. I am getting like, what's that? Yeah, 240 Magic Find base, which gets applied to everything, and then there's Bestiary on top of that, so I'm getting like 280 Magic Find or something per kill, which is pretty good. It's Diana Drought made them 5 mil, yeah. There was a Diana Drought for a reason. Or like, there was like a whole mayor drought where there was like no mayors, like none of the good mayors, like Paul, um, actually no, Paul I think was still there, but like Cole and Diana and like I think Marina too, just like were not being like shown in the election booth due to like a backend bug. That meant that they just like couldn't appear in the elections, which basically just meant that like we didn't have a bunch of mayors for like multiple months, and a bunch of those mayor specific items, like I remember shark scales or shark teeth, they also went up in price a lot because there's like a fishing equipment set that also been recently released, and there was like just no like marina mayors at all. It was just crazy. Like all the fucking event items just went up in price. Rare minerals were like starting to actually be worth a little bit. Like they were like up to like a K, 1k per or something, or like more than that. Uh, refined minerals, sorry. Yeah, they were like, I think they were like 30k per or something, which is like crazy for refined minerals. There's a lot of interesting things going on. Yeah, Paul was like the only one getting picked. There was also like Finnegan was like getting picked with like 2 perks or something. It was crazy. Because like Aatrox was also like one of the only mayors that was active, so it was just like Aatrox constantly. But it was like not 3 perk Aatrox or like 2 perk Aatrox at least. It was always just like 1 perk Aatrox, where it was like, oh, you get 25% more Slayer XP. And that was like the mayor. And that was like the best mayor that had been in weeks. Because otherwise it had been like 1 perk Marina with like plus 15 secret or chance. Or like 1 perk Diana with like nothing. Like, just nothing. Slash pricing is enough, yeah, true. Slash pricing used to be really good. Like, when Aatrox got released, slash pricing was like the best perk in literally the entirety of Skyblock. Oh, what is happening? Okay, I don't know why my game just freaked out, but it did. Oh, my TPS dropped. That's probably why. But yeah, it used to be like the best perk in the entire game, just because Slayers actually used to be really expensive, because it was like before a lot of the inflation happened. But yeah, nowadays they're like, it's okay for like Zombie Slayer or like Spider Slayer, but otherwise it's really not that good. Like if you're doing Eman Slayer, slash pricing does not matter. If you're doing Blaze Slayer slash pricing, does not matter. If you're doing Wolf Slayer slash pricing, does not matter. Like it is so minimal. But yeah, it's still okay for like Spider Slayer and Zombie Slayer, but still like both are not really that good money making methods, and like if you're doing it for the money, you're not doing it for the right thing anyway. So it's like it really does matter. He still has good perks with like the increased magic find because that's really good on pretty much every Slayer besides Spider Slayer, as well as like the extra bonus EXP he gives from Slayer ups, which is obviously just really nice because it cuts all your grinds down by 25%. But yeah, other than that though, there's really not really that many like yeah, it's not like they're not as good as they used to be. Yeah, Jacob contests. It's a little annoying getting constantly notified about Jacob contests, but I guess that's what you get. I think you can actually turn it off in the settings. I think I just haven't because I've been lazy. But yeah. Oh, really? Yeah. Yeah, it is kind of interesting because like you really need Tarantula Web, but like all the other drops from this layer are like basically useless. Also another Dwarf Turtle Helmet, we take those. Very useless, but hey, it's at least something. The only thing that obviously really like makes money is like either the Daedalus sticks or like a minus relic or obviously Chimera. Those are the ones we're looking for. All three being very rare. The sticks also have gone down quite a lot in price. They used to be like 25 mil a pop. I think they're like 10 mil maybe now. We look at Daedalus sticks. Yeah, they're like 10 mil now. They used to be like 25, but the magic find buffs from Bestiary have made it drop in price. It's kind of interesting though, because like Chimera itself has not been dropping in price at all, even though it technically has been made significantly more common with the Bestiary update. But like, it's still like 130 million coins, which is like more expensive than it used to be. It used to be like a million coins, but hey, I mean, more money, I guess. It Diana doesn't really make more money than it used to though overall, because like minus relics and Daedalus sticks has dropped, so like it's just more of the profit now is in Chimera again. Yeah, that's true. The thing about Chimera is just kind of like an enchant that like has always and will always be really good, because it's like has built-in power creep, if that makes sense. Like a lot of the enchants or in a lot of the items in the game, you know, they eventually they become not as expensive or not as valuable just because of power creep, right? Like more items become more powerful, you know, you get stronger, right? Like stuff that used to increase your strength by a little bit, all of a sudden almost increase it by nothing because, you know, then a new item comes along that increases by even more or whatever, right? Like armor sets get more powerful. Like Necron's armor has dropped a lot in price than what it used to be just because Crimson sets and you know things just kind of constantly happen. But because Chimera works how it works, like it copies stats from something else, it kind of has built-in power creep protection, right? Because it used to be really good back when you know the best pet in the game was the Ender Dragon pet, but it's still really good, even though like nowadays the Ender Dragon pet is a pretty mid pet, just because you know now stuff like G Dragon exists and that works really well with Chimera. Like, you know, Black Cat got a buff that made you know Chimera work on it as well, which you know means it's just still really good, and it will just constantly remain really good. Also, oh my god, I almost died to that guy. Gaia constructs are fucking crazy, man. Whoever made Gaia constructs needs to be fired. They're crazy strong. Especially if you get a runic Gaia construct, it's just death. It's like 5 more everyone's using that. Yeah, that's true. But I don't think there ever will be. Because the thing about like Chimera, it literally gives you a Chimera 5 with a fully maxed Golden Dragon, it literally gives you 30 Magic Find, which is just crazy. No, this is just a regular stream. I'm doing Diana right now. I was doing a Wolf Slayer before, but now we're doing Diana. Yeah, I have Warden Helmet and Dayax and maxed out Rift Necklace and a Gall Roll Crimson Chestplate on Story Talk already. Yeah, you just missed the last like 2 streams. It's nothing special, you know. I went from early game all the way to having a hype in like 2 streams. Nothing special. No, but this is not storage lock. I will be playing more storage lock probably this week as well, but don't forget the overflux. Oh yeah, my bad. My Terminator as well, obviously my titanium drill, yeah. All stuff, just, 310 storage slots, yeah. Just casually, what percentage, top percentage am I even in? I have no idea. Yeah, just casually got into the top 0.09%. Oh yeah, don't mind the fact that I can use Bazaar. That's just because when you get far enough at Iron Man, this is main profile. There is no storage locked here now. I've been enjoying the storage lock though. It has slowed down like significantly from what it used to be, which I can definitely feel when I'm like editing content. There's a lot fewer like moments that are like interesting, if you know. There's still plenty of stuff that's like interesting and worth including, but progress has definitely slowed down a bit, which is also kind of what I was looking for. It was going quite fast in the beginning just because early game is really, really fast, but it has slowed down significantly. Just because obviously, that's how Hypixel works. I will probably also be playing it more off stream though, just because a lot of the grinding I have to do is like grinding that's not really that interesting on stream. The ice mines was pretty funny. Yeah, it was. It was really interesting. The thing about it is like I didn't even notice it at the time there was 2 ice miners, as I said in the video. I was like so confused when I went back and edited through it. I was like, wait, this is 2 different usernames. What's going on? I also noticed, actually after as well, after rewatching the video, that one of the guys was actually using a completely different pickaxe as the other guy. I was just blind at the time. Watch macros in a while. I feel like that's already been done, no? What was that guy's YouTube name? He was like, oh, I forgot it. There was a Skyblock YouTuber who like literally made like so many videos on like catching macros. But I'll keep my eye out for them. There was a guy that I suspected for macroing actually in my last streams playing Storage Lock, but he was actually legit. He was like an ice spike or like ice scythe grinding seablets. It was kind of weird. Her type of non, yeah. There was a Powerliner actually. Powerliner. He did like a series of different non types where he was like doing documentaries. It was a very fun series to watch. I remember enjoying that greatly. He hasn't really been active though lately. Yeah, the Jujunon, Hyperion, Devanon. Yeah, I think he had the Terminon as well. Yeah, yeah. Those were some really good videos. I really enjoyed those, but he kind of fell victim to the old content route, I think. Maybe he got busy with something in life. I'm not actually sure. His Discord is still relatively active, actually. I'm pretty sure I'm a member. Also, for some reason, my thing just stopped working. Okay, weird. Maybe just had a bad day. What? Okay, there we go. It's working now. Just started a new Iron Man, no idea what to do. Yeah, that's fair. Actually, Mr. What's it called? HS Fearless. He has a guide on like early game Iron Man, which is pretty good still. It's a little old, and there's a couple things that are definitely outdated about it, but he has a pretty good like beginner guide of what you should do on a new Iron Man profile. You could take that. You could give that a watch if you wanna, have a good idea of what you should do. I could like try to advise, like give you advice myself, but I don't feel like I would be really qualified. Because obviously the only Iron Man I'm playing right now is like a challenge profile, so it isn't really progressing the same way as other profiles do. I don't think he does actually. I think that was the plan, like he wanted to. Also, we got in Secret Remedies and another Dwarf Helmet apparently. Goddamn. I think that was his plan, but I don't never think he finished it. I think he only got to like the mid game or something. The best way to make money is bizarre flipping. True. It's really funny when you're like watching like money making methods on YouTube. It's like, Okay, so what you should do is either you should ruby mine for 20 million an hour in the magma fields, or you should bazaar flip for 200 million coins per hour easily, because like bazaar flipping is super easy, and that's what you should do all the way to the late game. Smile. And then like they show a clip of them trying to bazaar flip, and they're like buy ordering gravel and selling it for like 100k coins profit per hour. Really funny. It's always really funny. The only person who's like I've actually seen like actually get some like crazy rates off bazaar and stuff, or like some actually crazy money making methods has been like Simply Sark. He's made some really interesting videos. He's like really good at like finding ways and like unique ways to make a lot of money, or like just unique money making methods in general. He has some really entertaining videos. He knows a lot about the market. I feel like he's like the one person I know that's actually a pretty good bazaar flipper. Obviously, there's a lot of bazaar flippers, especially in like the high net worth community, but a lot of them prefer to be like anonymous. Yeah, true. Yeah, that makes sense. Iron Man is pretty big though. I think they released some statistics and it's like 10% of people are Iron Man, which is quite a lot. But a lot of people prefer like the easier time that you get on a normal profile, which I do very much understand. Iron Man profile can be quite tedious. So unless it's like your job, like playing Skyblock is your job, most people, prefer like the easier time you get from a normal profile. Yeah, exactly. It's just kind of how bazaar flips work. It's like as soon as someone comes across it, unless it's like absolutely painful, like something like crafting whale bait, the method instantly dies. But there are certain methods that are always, pretty decent bazaar flips. A couple of them are definitely like amalgamated crimsonite, any of the like complicated slayer drops, and then crafting whale bait. All those three are always pretty solid flips. Like they're nothing crazy, especially whale bait has dropped quite significantly, but all of them are pretty decent. But a lot of the market also, or a lot of bazaar flipping also just is just predicting the market, right? It's predicting, based on what mayor is coming up, what updates are like, scheduled to come out, just predicting what items, you think you would will increase in price based on like stuff like that. Yeah, that's fair. Iron Man is filled with like funny, interesting grinds. Yeah, simply predicting the future, easy money for real. Yeah, it's more like taking educated guesses of what you think would be good, and like then it's really like kind of like real life investment. It's kind of interesting though. Actually, if you want to get into real life investment, a really good way of like just getting a basic understanding of it is trying to bazaar flip in Skyblock, or like manipulate or like use the market in something like RuneScape as well. Because they honestly work quite like simply as well, like, or yeah, get a page in business. True. I mean, unironically, the best money making method is simply just getting a real life job and buying gems. Like that is bar none the best money making method in the game. Just become a millionaire, man. Like it's so much better than actually playing the game. Buy dungeon drops is the yeah, true. Stuff like that, yeah. A classic that used to work back in the day was also just like buying gold before Diana, for example, because gold always used to go up in price. Nowadays it literally doesn't. Quite interestingly, if you go into gold and then you go into enchanted gold, you see how that sell price is below the NPC sell value? Can't wait for the money making guide, yeah. I tried to make like kind of a money making guide. Also the same with enchanted gold blocks. I mean, a decent way, honestly, to make money is just putting up buy orders for like enchanted gold and then like just waiting for them to fill and selling them to NPC. Just get a 9 to 5 and spend your earnings on gems. That would literally be me. Yeah. The only like I've done a couple like videos that kind of been focused on money making, but the main ones are like obby mining, which honestly still stands to this day. Like obby mining, I don't know why, but has like remained a really solid money making method and still is. And especially for a normal profile, I'd argue it's way better than obviously can't use it on Iron Man, but for a normal profile, it's way better than something like ruby mining, in my opinion at least. 3 billion coins per hour, true. You don't have a PC for flipping PhD? Yeah, my bad, sorry. I'm not a professional. Also, that guy had a freaking stroke. Oh my god, my ears. Yeah, no, I sadly don't. Because of Hyrex. I mean, yeah, that's true. But it's gotten easier and easier over time still, though. They buffed, like, powder grinding, for example, which has made Blue Goblin omelets a lot easier to get and a lot cheaper. And they've also just, like, over time, they've made Divan Sama. Like, Divan Sama has dropped a lot in price. They also buffed, or, like, made Worm skin, for example, a lot cheaper. Like the Van Strachman used to be like 3 mil a pop, now they're literally 600k. So like the Rex have gone down significantly over time, but obby mining is still like one of the best mining methods out there. Like 3.9k per enchanted obby, this is crazy. You can easily make like 33 mil or something off these prices. I don't know why it's so good, but it's just really solid. It's really like whenever someone tells me to like recommend money making methods, I'm always like, it kind of depends on what you want to do, obviously, because if you do a method twice as long as another method, you're always going to be making more money doing the method you actually enjoy, right? Just because you're going to be able to do it for longer. But other than that, obby mining is like my number 1 recommendation, just because it's so good. And it's like, yeah, it's a bit boring, and obviously, if you don't enjoy mining, it's not that good of a method, but it's really solid, and it's consistent rates, and it's not RNG dependent, and it's just has no setup time. It just has so many benefits. Just employ slavery, yeah. Technoblade was like the first person to solve Skyblock, though. Like the only Skyblock code that ever really has ever held true throughout like the entire lifespan of Skyblock is that every Skyblock player's goal is to get so far in the game that they don't no longer have to play Skyblock. That is just it just holds true, and it has always held true, man. It's every Skyblock player's goal is to get so far in the game and get so rich that they don't have to play the game anymore. He had it all figured out. I really miss Technoblade. A lot of like there was a lot of interesting stuff like in Skyblock with Technoblade. He really like brought a lot of life to the game. But yeah, what if I'm crazy? We haven't reached 1.0? Yeah, it has like Skyblock has been in development forever, but I don't understand why though. It's just so hard to work with, and like if you've seen like stuff like API changes that have been rolling out and stuff like that, every single one of those like changes takes a lot of work, like a lot of man hours to actually do, and like the thing is that like yeah, it doesn't actually impact the game at all, but stuff like that is really necessary for actually making updates to the game. And it's just like they have to do that all the time because they're working with Minecraft. I have somehow reached the point of no longer being addicted to it. Yeah, that's called burnout. But yeah, it happens. Even Technoblade got burned out. There was a reason why he didn't come back for Dungeons. Yeah. Also, I think. Wait. Yeah. Okay. I think my predictor was actually getting mixed up by the soundtrack going on, which is kind of interesting. The number 1 potato farmer. Yeah. A lot of people have passed him at this point. Ever since the garden came out, a lot of people are, you know, have gone past it, but he's still really high up there. I just got bored. Yeah, that's literally what burnout is. Pretty much. Is getting bored of something that you used to enjoy. That's kind of what burnout is. Joe Mama. Wait a minute. Oh my god, what is going on? I've got a Discord message. What's going on? Nothing. This isn't Wolfslayer? Yeah, I know, I'm sorry. I swapped to doing Diana. We did do Wolfslayer though. Like, if we scroll up in my chat here. Wait. Here. That's Wolfslayer. Look, it's Wolfslayer. It's Wolfslayer. I'm doing Wolfslayer. I trust. Look, I still have the Slayer quest active. 40k XP, yeah. Did it for like an hour though. I've already done like 40 minutes of Diana. What the hell? It's felt like no time whatsoever. What the fuck? I feel like I've just been wasting time. The title is outdated, yeah. I don't think you can update titles though. I need to stop streaming or something if I want to update the title. At least can't update the thumbnail. Yeah, I literally can't update the title, which is a shame. I do apologize for it, but I can't. I literally can't do anything about it. Sue YouTube. We might go back to doing a little bit more Wolfslayer. I'm not sure. He powers are clearly still. I mean, yeah, literally, we're getting 23k Wolf XP per hour doing Diana. Like, come on. I'm obviously still doing Wolfslayer. Literature, yeah. Honestly, true. That series was like the GOAT. I do think eventually someone will come along and make some better videos, but for now, they've definitely been like some of the best videos ever made on Skyblock. It was also made in a different time, though. Skyblock has changed a lot from what it was during when Technoplay played, because it has really been like gone from like a kind of sandboxy, you know, more traditional. I don't know, not really Skyblock, but you know, kind of very limited game to an actually like a pretty fledged out MMO. So a lot of stuff has really happened with Skyblock that you know, has just made it a whole different game than what it used to be. Restrain's Iron Man videos have. Yeah, true. Restrain has made some really, really good videos though. I especially enjoyed like his pay to win series. That one was really, really interesting and really fun. He's also done a new one that's called like Skyblock Chapters, which honestly is also quite interesting. I've been quite enjoying it. It has kind of reminded me. It's kind of funny because like a lot of people whenever I started my storage lock because I thought like, oh, this is kind of what I think YouTube content on Skyblock is kind of going to be looking like. And since then, there's like been 2 or 3 series that's kind of been like challenge profiles as well that have been kind of going out, which are quite interesting that I like haven't seen before. Like when I started by Storage Locked, I had literally not seen a single person made like an actual challenge account and be like serious about it. But after I've like I've seen a lot of them pop up, which has been quite interesting and quite fun to watch. Also, time to use admin, true. That is kind of weird. But he doesn't really make YouTube videos anymore, so it makes sense. Good night, Joe Mama. Stay well. It's getting a little late for me. I do have to... I am trying to go to work tomorrow, but I can definitely stream a little longer. Hypo Jackers and Golden Man, yeah. Oh yeah, there was Golden Man actually before. But that was like... I mean, that was kind of a challenge profile, but honestly, Golden Man is easier than normal Iron Man, so I don't know. I don't really count it. Yeah, true. I mean, yeah, I guess Iron Man and Stranded were both actually like challenges that were made by YouTubers, so I guess you're right, yeah. And that way, there are definitely people who've come before me. I'm not claiming to be like the first person to ever make a actual challenge profile in Skyblock, but it's just I hadn't seen many of them before, and it's just been kind of funny to see so many more pop up like after I began. But honestly, it's exciting. I feel like it's a good way for like Skyblock content to stay fresh, because it's kind of Skyblock content have been dry for a long time now, but yeah. Okay, I just got villager hums from my like as the sound my shovel made. That was kind of funny. I don't know if you could hear that, but that sounded really funny. Another one. this area locked, I think? Yeah, there was a guy, there was like, I think he's like a Twitch streamer or something who made like an area locked profile where it's like he's locked his island or something. And then like he needs to use some bingo goes or something and then he can unlock other islands, yeah. Yeah, yeah. I've seen that one too. It was kind of interesting, but it's definitely a lot different compared to storage locked, just because it's like, oh, is this Skyblock Trials? Yeah, it might be. Yeah, it might be Skyblock Trials actually. That might be the name of it. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's a lot different compared to storage locked though. It's like, it's not Iron Man in the first place. Like he says he's gonna play it like an Iron Man, but you know, he obviously has like the perks he can get, and then he can like redeem items and stuff. Which I don't know. It feels like a little weird to me. Almost a little cheaty, but I mean, I guess that's kind of what he has to do to keep the content flowing, you know? Yeah. I tried to check out like a Goldman video at one point, but I don't know. It just never really caught on to me. I felt like it was like too complicated for you to really follow along, like what was happening. That's why I made like storage locked. I wanted to make it like storage lock as simple as it is. I wanted to make it as simple as possible. Like obviously there's quite a few different rules, just because, you know, I don't want to make them, you know, circumventable, and I want to have like an official rule set. So if other people do want to do the challenge at some point, I don't know why you would, because it's honestly kind of pain. But if they do, I do want to have like a pretty thorough rule set. But yeah, I really just tried to make it as simple as possible so people could like follow along what the concept was. Is the good sides of Iron Man, but without the bad ones, yeah. You're probably right about that. There's definitely certain parts of Iron Man which are a real pain. Especially making money is like kind of painful, but yeah. It's also why I'm not taking my storage lock so far. Because I could like go further with my storage lock, definitely. I do think it's possible to potentially be like something like a tier 4 blaze, but it would just take way too long, and yeah, I don't know. It just wouldn't be fun at that point. I definitely have already like seen glimpses of the Skyblock grind, for example. In my last stream, I was literally grinding sealets, and I ended up with like 1,300 kills, and I had one summoning eye. So, you know, that was kind of painful. But yeah, still, it's not like, you know, it's a lot better that I, you know, cut it short. Also, 500,000 coins. Wow. Did I? I don't think I ever put my coins in my bank, so I don't think I've actually made 17 mil, but I've definitely made some money. Back me stream to do a video on can you get a Hyperion Hypixel without moving your camera? What? Just having zero sensitivity? Can you get a Hyperion like that? I mean, yeah, obviously you can. If you're on a normal profile, you can just bizarre flip, smile, and then like eventually open up a auction house and then like buy one from there. But like on Iron Man, I don't know, probably not. I don't think you'd be able to like make money like that. I feel like it would be it would at least be very hard. Especially if there's like literally no way you can move your camera. But yeah, there's a lot of interesting challenges you can do in Skyblock though. I definitely feel like there's still potential out there for like new and interesting challenges too. Like people have tried to do hardcore, for example, and I do think like hardcore has some potential, but I feel like especially like if you can like put a twist on hardcore to make it not actually hardcore, because there's a lot of bullshit deaths in Skyblock. But if you could do something like that, but like not make it so like bullshit deaths are that important, then you know I feel like you could have quite an interesting challenge on your hands. Mouse to move his camera, so that to me seems like his thing. Yeah, maybe. It could probably be an interesting challenge in other games, but I feel like Hypixel is too long to do that, you know? Oh no, you meant boss is behind me now. Imagine doing Enderman Slayer and the teleport the boss oh, end quiz! Oh my god, the first end quiz that was like an hour. Did I hit? Yeah, I did. Perfect. Okay. I did No, I think I have my max Magifine set up. I do have to swap to, like, full sorrow when I kill it, but other than that, I do think I have everything I need. Um, this, and then I do this, and I equip these two pieces, and I just try to kill it now. Boom! Nothing. Well, unfortunate. First Inquis though, which is kind of exciting. That kind of did take forever. I feel like what I was doing Diana for like an hour before. Okay, not quite an hour, but like 50 minutes before we got an Inquis. A little unlucky, but whatever. It's an Inquis anyway. Some bestiary progress, not too bad. I'm not actually sure how far off my bestiary is. I know it's really far off, and I definitely won't be getting any major progress done in that, but yeah. Yeah, I have like 50 kills. I'm like 10% of the way to max. Wow. I mean, that's something, I guess. It's really interesting because like I have minus hunters and champions maxed, and like Siamese Lynxes is pretty close, and but then there's like Minotaurs still only halfway, and like Gaia Constructs is only a third of the way, and then like minus Inquisitors is only 10% of the way. It's like, okay, game, why? They really aren't that balanced. Like, I feel like they've done a pretty decent job of like generally balancing out bestiaries, so like none of them are crazy grindy. But there's definitely some outliers out there, and Inquisitors is definitely one of them. Oh, nice. I don't think I've heard of Robot Quest before. What's it about? I've been kind of looking for new games to play. I don't have that much money, so I haven't really been buying mini games, but I have seen a few games that have been like kind of interesting, but they've just kind of been really expensive, so I've avoided buying them, you know. The only real like major game I've really played over the last few years has been like Cyberpunk and like its DLC. Roguelike shooter, yeah. Sounds interesting. Oh, I do think I've seen some gameplay of it. It's like kind of cartoony graphics, right? And then you have like weird guns and you can get like better guns and stuff like that. Fast paced, yeah. I think I saw like Dangerously Funny, I think, play it. I watch a guy who's called like Dangerously Funny who plays like a lot of weird arcade and sometimes even Roblox games, which I'm a little bit of ashamed to admit, but it's kind of entertaining because he's really bad at them. Like he's not good at games at all, but he like tends to spend money on them. It's kind of interesting. Oh, sound effects, yeah, yeah. I think I've seen some gameplay of it. It did look kind of interesting, kind of fun, but I don't know. I've been playing a lot of Apex though, so I definitely have a thing for like roguelikes and shooters, but I don't know. It depends on how well it's made. It was, yeah, nice. I don't watch like every video of his ever, but it's pretty entertaining, even if he's like terrible at video games. Just because he plays a lot of like weird hidden games and like a lot of different games, so you kind of discover quite a few of them. And then there's a lot of those mobile games he plays, which is just like scratches that weird mobile game itch that you sometimes get, and then you don't have to play them yourself and deal with all the bullshit that's actually in them. Oh, there's a demo. Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, I might check that out. I didn't know there was actually a demo. Because I saw it on Steam for like 25 euros or something, which was like a little bit too expensive for me. Like I enjoy indie games, like there's a lot of great indie games, stuff like Subnautica, Hades. I've been, some of my favorite games of all time, but there's also a lot of indie games nowadays which are just a lot more expensive than they realistically really need to be. But I get to do YouTube ads instead, yeah. Well, there I'm lucky. I have YouTube Premium, so I don't have to deal with those. So it sounds like a being poor issue. Sorry. I don't pay for it myself. My family has YouTube Premium, which I'm very glad about. It's why I kind of almost exclusively watch YouTube instead of like watching a lot of other stuff. Oh, did my spade not work? Nope. But yeah, I get that YouTube ads have probably been getting more and more annoying over time. I've heard a lot of people complain about, stuff like videos not having the same quality as they used to and like ads being more intrusive than they used to be and stuff like that. which you know I definitely get and is probably quite annoying, but I haven't really had issues with it myself, so I can only do I can only feel for you. I can't really do much else. Left the two 20 seconds and skippable ads next to each other. Yeah, that must be annoying. But I feel like on TV, for example, it kind of got to that point pretty quickly too, and it was like you know annoying, but it's like it's really not as bad as like YouTube is, for example. And like more and more streaming or like services are rolling out ads. There's stuff like the ad-supported tiers of like Netflix, and I think HBO or something has something like that as well. So it's just kind of being more and more ads and digital content, just because there's kind of been an era, at least in the early 2000s, where like everything like tech wise wasn't didn't need to make money, right? It really didn't, and all it really needed to do was like be a proof of concept and generate users. That's kind of where YouTube first started, right? It started out just, being a platform. It didn't make money, and I still think it like maybe barely breaks even at this point to this day. I don't even know if it actually does, um, because of like bandwidths and stuff like that. But it was like all about just getting users on because, obviously once you have a user base, then it's kind of easier to become profitable. It's kind of the same problem that Twitter has been facing for the last 5 years or something, especially since Elon Musk bought it. But like, yeah, Twitter has been facing a lot of issues with how it operates, just because it's really not been profitable at all, and it still isn't. Mainly because of Elon Musk, kind of a little bit, you know, techie and whatnot. It's not really that interesting, but basically, there's a lot of debt, and that debt needs to be paid, and there's not enough money to pay that debt, so they're just kind of becoming more and more in debt. So, yeah, they have issues. That's all I can really say. Champion, you have been slain. I did actually buy the seasonal Griffin skin. When like not actually with real money or with gems, I bought it off the AH because I wanted to actually put it on my own Griffin, but I haven't done that. I just have it in my chest right now. But I don't know. I don't know if I will do that because I know it leaves like ghost mobs, for example, which I wouldn't really enjoy. It's definitely like an interesting concept for like a skin that has like effects outside of just retexturing uh, a pet or an item or something like that. But I don't know. I've just seen it having like issues with ghost mobs and stuff like that, and it seems like it's more pain than is really worth dealing with. Just to have some maybe slightly prettier mobs to you look at, because like honestly, the Diana mobs are already pretty like well designed. The only one that's like kind of ugly is like the Iron Golem, okay, the Gaia construct. And it's not like the Griffin can really do much about that. It's a vanilla mob. Can't really change how that looks. But yeah, there's been more and more skins they've been releasing that can like change color and stuff, which is kind of exciting. But on the other hand, it's also just skins, so it's not like it's the most interesting thing in the world. But I definitely do know that some people have gotten quite a lot of enjoyment out of skins. There's been a lot of hype around them. A lot of them have been selling out, but it seems like there's kind of been people who's kind of been like satisfied with them because like stuff like these bee skins, for example, that are going on right now, they haven't sold out at all, and they've been like going for multiple days at this point. So people have kind of calmed down. There was also the seasonal shot they introduced, so there's just a lot of things that have kind of been like introduced. There's so many skins nowadays. So while like the ones that already exist are generally going up in price still, but a lot of the new ones are kind of taking longer and longer to go up in price just because they have more competition, you know? which is not necessarily like a bad thing. It does mean there's like more interesting skins you can choose from. You know, if you're just a casual player and you want to have a pretty looking helmet or something like that, or a pretty looking rune, there's a lot more options to choose from nowadays than there used to be. Which, you know, is good. It's nice, but for the people who are like buying skins specifically with the intent of selling them for coins, they're not as good as they used to be, you know, just because there's so many new skins coming out all the time. They've held a lot of fire sales, really. And I'm wondering if it's because they're like losing money in Skyblock or something, but I think they're doing okay though. I don't think it's too much of an issue for them. Because they have definitely made a lot of money off skins. I've kind of have like a monthly debt I pay to Skyblock every single month. Or not every single month, but every single month I like actively play it because I buy my own cookies, and I always kind of have just because I want to support the game. Because I honestly, you know, really like the game and do want to support it, and it also gives me like an excuse for not having to deal with inflation, which is quite nice. I can also use creator codes as well, which I also feel good about just because I know I'm supporting people who are making content that I genuinely enjoy. It's been harder and harder though to like choose which creator to like use my code on. Because there's a lot of good creators, but also there's like a lot of people who are like just, you know, they're decent, but they're not like crazy good. And like, there's also some of the big creators, you know, I know they don't actually really need the support that badly, and I want to support the people who are like new or smaller, just because, I don't know, they need it more, you know? I don't know. Maybe I'm just like overthinking it, and realistically, it doesn't really matter who I support, and I should just take my 5% discount and go, but I don't know. It's kind of, I feel like I'm voting with my wallet whenever I use the code or something. Even though it probably doesn't matter that much. I don't actually know how much like of a cut creators get whenever you use a code, but I do think it's a sizable cut actually. They get a pretty decent amount, which is really nice of Hypixel. It's really interesting because like Hypixel Skyblock especially is not like that big of a game, honestly. Like it really isn't compared to a lot of other things in the industry, but there's a lot more creators around it than there is compared to like a lot of other games. Um, and a lot of them really aren't that big, but there's also a lot more like full-time creators that are quite small. Which the only real reason that you can actually do that is because of the Skyblock codes, which is really nice of Hypixel. Also, we just hit 149 million combat XP. Oh my god, that's crazy! I didn't expect to get that off Diana mobs. They're not exactly like great for combat XP. I mean, they're not terrible. Like some of them do give like 500 combat XP or something per, which is not bad, but compared to pretty much anything else you could be doing in the game, it's really not that good. Not every single month, but I do buy gems most months. It depends on whenever like I run out of cookies and stuff, or if there's like a fire sale I really want to buy. But I haven't bought like gems the last 2 months just because I've been away and haven't really been playing Hypixel a lot. There's been a couple of fire sales that's been quite interesting, but the last couple of fire sales I've just kind of been buying with in-game money, with coins instead. Just because I have like a small skin collection. I'm not planning on like using them or not even really selling them. I just kind of have them for a rainy day, you know. They're pretty good investments. And I do plan on playing, Skyblock for a long time into the future as well, so. Having some coins in a chest on an island that you kind of forget about, it's a good idea. I always like kind of recommend if you know that you're going to be taking an extended break from the game, invest your coins. Like don't just have them in the bank. Like yeah, you get interest on that, but you can only really get up to like 1,000,000 coins in interest and then it caps out. But like if you invest in just a couple skins, like even just like 100 million coins or even just 50 million coins, you can get some okay skins. And as long as you buy like, a decent variety of them, you can have a decent amount of money to like come back to. So I have two more antique remedies. God, antique remedies are useless. They really need a use. Actually, most items need a use. So welcome back, Unknown. Hope you had a good time doing whatever it is you were doing. But yeah, I do hope they come out with some like new content relatively soon, because it has been a while since there's really been anything. Like the last update that actually really had any content in it was like the winter update, which was like, it was interesting. It definitely gave you something to do for like a couple days, which was nice, but other than that, it was a pretty small update, and like other than that, there really hasn't been anything. They added like the super crafting and stuff like that, which is nice. And I do think it's actually a feature they worked quite a lot on because it seems pretty difficult to make, but I don't know. It's only really been like a quality of life thing, and it's not really something I'm going to be using a lot. We did use it early in the stream, which I guess is something, but I don't know. I don't feel like it's going to be that useful for like the average player. It's only really going to be a niche minority who's like going to be actively using it. So yeah. I don't know. It's kind of a strange feature because in my mind, something like a feature like that just leads to more dupes and leads to more exploits and stuff, but like way more than it's really worth dealing with for like a pretty niche feature. But hey, maybe a lot of people actually like enjoy it. Also, where the hell is this burrow? Okay, my guess was just a wait. What? Where's this burrow? What the hell is going on with my guess? Is it drunk? What is happening? Okay, oh wait, it's down here in the cave? Oh, it's down here in the cave. Wow. These one always kind of mess up my solver for some reason. It just cannot figure out where it is. It's also kind of weird that there could be burrows in here, but there can be. At least it's not under rock. Oh, whoop. Okay. I just got alt-tabbed for no reason. Oh, a rat. Give me nothing. Unfortunate. For sure. Oh, give me that feather. Nice. Griffin feathers has always been a pretty consistent money-making method, which is kind of nice. Sad rat moment. Yeah, true. I've I've killed like a few rats in my time. Not really that many, but I have killed a few. The rat pet used to actually be like a really difficult pet to obtain. Hasn't really ever been super valuable, but it actually used to be quite difficult to obtain just because it's only gotten from a single mob, and that mob used to be quite rare. It's still pretty rare, like you can only really get a few per lobby, but if you're lobby hopping and stuff, you can get quite a decent amount of rats per hour, so it's not that hard to get, but it used to be quite difficult, just because they only spawned at night, and like when they spawned, they weren't like guaranteed to spawn, and like you needed a lobby with like actual people in it for them to actually spawn. So there's just a lot of conditions that needed to be felt for them to actually, or like, you know, achieved for them to actually, spawn. Also, 750k just casually. Nice, we take those. Nowadays, it's really only their tasty cheese which is like used. I still don't have a rat pet myself though. I should probably get one just for the pet score. It's obviously not very useful. I have heard of people who have like used it to like loot share cores and stuff, which is kind of an interesting thing if you're just gonna be AFK somewhere, but I don't know. It's extremely rare and like not at all likely to happen, but hey, I mean, if you want to like sit AFK or you want to have your game running, a good way of like potentially making some passive income without having to do some kind of weird AFK farm or something like that, is honestly just sitting around with a rat pet and buffing people with Magic Find, which is honestly kind of a win-win situation because the people, who are actually dropping the drops are getting their Magic Find increase, which is always nice, but yeah. I'm not sure if you do actually. I don't know how it works exactly. Also, we got a Gaia construct, bestiary level, not bad. I mean, nothing crazy, but hey, we got an extra 4 Magic Find on something like a Crochet Tiger plushie or a Dwarf Turtle Shellman. It's really weird that they're not in fucking, or like, they don't have messages, honestly. I don't know why they don't. I never noticed that the Exalted Gaia construct actually dropped enchanted iron ingots. Interesting. There was 1,000 million coins worth of iron ingots at this point, which is kind of interesting. I think that's like mainly been from Exalted Gaia constructs. Maybe not, but I think it has. You do get a surprising amount of coins and just like raw materials from the Diana mobs, which is kind of nice. Kind of the same case with like magma fish whenever you're like lava fishing. Yeah, I've dropped multiple chimeras. I think I've dropped 4 chimeras at this point. I have one in my chest right now that I just haven't sold from the last time I did Diana. I was like complaining about a command that was like combat tagged, which really shouldn't have been combat tagged, and then I was like doing Diana while doing that, and then I dropped it on like my first Inquisitor of that Diana, which was kind of interesting. It was like almost like an apology. I was like complaining about a feature that they changed. Was like, oh my god, girl, why did they do this? Why did they do this? And then like the game gave me a chimera as an apology. This was quite nice of it. And they actually ended up reverting the change. So now the command, which is /equipment, is no longer combat tagged locked, which is really nice because it really shouldn't be, because it doesn't really give you an advantage. And the only thing it really does, it prevents the need for mods for quick switching, which is something you otherwise need mods for. You still need something like a keybind to actually do commands, but just for something like SkyTills, you can do it nowadays. You just do SkyTills and then you do key shortcuts, and then you do /equipment, this one, and then you bind it to some key. And then you can open up this menu, and then from this menu you can quickly swap out your equipment or like your armor or something. I use it during Diana whenever like an Inquis spawns to swap to Sorrow before I kill. Or like whenever I fish and I need to do Sorrow swapping or something as well. Also, oh my god, this burrow is on the other side of the map. It's a very, very useful command. And I'm really glad they removed it from being combat tagged, because the only thing it being combat tagged really does, it just force people to use mods for that instead, which I feel like is like just unnecessary. Because the thing already exists in the game, so like why not just allow people to use it instead of forcing them to download a third-party mod. But they did reverse it, which was really nice. They did realize that there was honestly no reason for it to be combat tagged. I think in the first place the only reason they actually made that change is just because they forgotten to make it combat tagged, which they have done in the past as well with something like Warp Forge. But yeah, now, you know, that's no longer the case and you can actually use it in combat, which is really nice. The devs actually listened to the player base, which was crazy. In general, though, I feel like the Skyblock devs are pretty good at listening to the player base. They do have moments every once in a while where it's like, okay, why did you make this change? But in general, they tend to like increase like or like just make the game better over time. I got 8 bits. Oh my god, that's crazy. I think you get bits from killing Diana mobs actually, or maybe it's digging Griffin Barrows. I'm not sure. We keep an eye out. Maybe we can tell when it happens. I think it's whenever you finish a Diana chain actually. I think it's when you finish the chain. So like this one right here. Do I get bits from this? Yeah, I do. I get 8 bits. So whenever you finish a Diana chain, you get 8 bits. Which is like completely pointless because you might as well just sit AFK, but hey, you get 8 bits for doing Diana. It was a kind of a weird update they made like a while back where they like a bunch of activities just started giving you bits, which was just kind of weird because if you didn't know, how it used to work is that like obviously, and how it still works is that bits you get from just playing the game, like being active in the game or being AFK, and you slowly accumulate bits as long as you have a cookie active, which is fine. You know, that's a fine way to make the system. No, you can't get a god pod without it. You actually can't, and that's kind of weird. But yeah, as I said, bits you get from eating cookies, and then you slowly accumulate them over time until you kind of run out of bits to gain. Which is a little bit of a weird system, but basically every single cookie you eat means you can get more bits. And as long as you can get bits, you slowly get them over time, and then you also get them from certain activities. But how it used to work back in the day is that you basically only got it like over time, but then you also got it from like a couple specific boss fights. for no reason whatsoever. And then, but then they eventually, like a while back, a couple months ago, they made it so almost every activity in the game like grants you a tiny amount of bits, but it's like still, it's like nothing compared to like you get what you from just being AFK. So it's like really pointless. But yeah, you can only gain bits though, even like if you're doing stuff like Slayers or anything like that. The only way you can actually get bits is through eating a cookie, because you need to be have bits available. So it doesn't actually matter. It made no difference for anyone. You still need to eat cookies to get bits, which is a shame. The only thing they've really done to like make cookies less necessary, which was a really good change, is that they made it so you no longer get your god pot wiped whenever you die without a cookie, because it used to be like that. And that was one of the reasons that cookies were an absolute must for a while, is that you needed it because if you didn't have it, your god pot would get wiped. If reach the bits cap 1% faster. Yeah, true. Like that's the only thing it does, is that you gain all the bits you have available a tiny, tiny bit faster if you play the game actively, doing certain activities such as Slayer or like Diana or like fishing, I think also gives you a little bit of bits. But it's like so unnecessary. So like it was just a really weird change they made. I feel like what they should have done instead is they should have just made it so the only way you got bits from, being AFK over time, but hey. I guess it's like a kind of a positive change, but most people don't have any bits available anyway, so it's like it really makes no difference for most people, but hey, it's something I guess you can do if you like are one of those people who buy cookies and then they sell the items you get from the bits and then buy more cookies and make money that way. Yeah, or that. Or yeah, as you said, or they then, remove DFKing and then the only way of getting them are actually by doing stuff in the game. That could also honestly be a pretty good way of doing it. Maybe they wanted to do that, but then they want to like make it more of like a gradual change over time instead of like making it more, you know, extreme. But honestly, I don't feel like people would really mind that they'd have to actually work for the bits that they have available instead. But yeah, the bit system is a little bit funky because originally it was kind of like a system they implemented to actually justify people buying cookies. Because back in the day, when cookies first got introduced, like they had some advantages and like there was definitely advantages to them, but at the end of the day, they weren't that important because there was really no activity in the game that really required them, and like the boosts they give were pretty minor. Like they were good, but they weren't, crazy or anything. So I feel like they just kind of added the bits as kind of like a side thing to that, and they've just kind of kept it ever since. It's kind of the way to introduce a bunch of weird, like kind of awkward items that were really only quality of life items, but yeah, it just felt like a way they could like get away with implementing a bunch of weird items that they really didn't know where else to place in the game at the time. And they just kind of kept using it as that. Which I mean is fine, but like it's a little weird that it's like paywalled behind cookies. Especially because a lot of like really necessary quality of life items, such as god potions, are locked behind it, which is honestly just kind of unnecessary. Because like it just makes the early game more tedious than it has to be, especially for Iron Man players. Just because like you're gate kept by an item that every single player in the game needs, so it automatically gets its price increased, right, massively. It's just selling cookies that increase the price, yeah. We need more people spending money on the game. I don't think it's going to be the solution, though. The only real solution for cookies to become cheaper in price is if there's a way you can get the cookie buff without having to eat cookies. Or if they just discount the cookies so they cost less than the in-game store or like the store. But I feel like the better way of doing it is that you should be able to get the cookie buff by doing some kind of activity. Like get a little bit of cookie buff. Maybe max it out so you only have like an hour of cookie buff a day, and then if you want to play more with cookie buff, then you have to actually buy the cookies. just so you know, all the people who are currently consuming cookies have a lot better of a way, like still have to buy cookies, but all those people who are like really new to the game and like don't really know what they're doing or like only really play a couple hours a week, actually have a way of getting cookies and actually, you know, can get the benefits of cookies without it just being a massive waste of their coins. I feel like that's a better way of doing it. It's like making the cookie buff available, but like making it not, making it available in other ways than just from actually eating cookies. Then it would bug in the cookie. Yeah, true. There would probably be bugs with it, but eventually they could definitely make something work. But for now, obviously, they do still need to make money on the game, and that's also why they've been pumping out so many fire sales. It's because they do need to make money on the game. Hypixel Skyblock is a pretty expensive game to run, especially since it has a pretty small player base. Um, Again, as I've also said many times before, compared to a lot of other games. So they need to have ways to actually making money. And like, you know, it's a shame that, it kind of hurts, especially Ironman, but it's kind of necessary for the game to actually, exist and get updates. Like, if the cookies didn't exist, I don't think we'd even have Skyblock anymore. Maybe there would be a fan recreation, but it definitely wouldn't be making money. So, it's kind of necessary, but hey, it kind of is what it is. Roblox games is how I play Smash. Yeah, like genuinely, there's a bunch of Roblox game modes that genuinely have like triple or even sometimes like 5 times the player amounts, which is just kind of crazy. The thing about those players though is that they're generally younger players, which also means they generally have less money to spend. So in that way, the player base for Skyblock is a little bit more high valued, like per player. Like the odds of someone spending money on the game is a little bit higher than some games, but compared to something like Sky, Counter Strike, for example, it's even lower than that. So it only really, makes it like overall still Skyblock is not really that profitable. Like wow, yeah, okay, that's actually kind of insane. I'm assuming the vast majority of those players are kids, though. I know there are some gamers that have like a little bit of an older player base. Like, there's a lot of people in my generation who still plays Roblox, like people around in like their early 20s, late teens, right? Like, there's still quite a lot of people at that age group that actually plays plays Roblox, which hey, power to you, I guess, but it is a little strange. At least in my opinion. Obviously, you're allowed to do whatever you want to do if you enjoy playing Roblox. Obviously, go for it, play Roblox. But for a game that's supposed to have like a younger audience, and definitely very much does, it does have a surprising amount of older players. But I guess that's kind of the same thing with Minecraft. Fun PvP games, yeah. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I have played some Roblox in my time as well. I used to enjoy Phantom Forces quite a bit just because I didn't want to play for counter for Call of Duty, and Phantom Forces kind of scratched that itch. But I haven't played Roblox in quite a long time now. I don't think I've played it in like the last year almost. Maybe I've booted it once or twice. Maybe I played a single game or something with one of my friends, but I really haven't played Roblox at all. I don't know. I just don't. I don't really see the appeal anymore. But it does kind of have that same like property as Minecraft has, where it's kind of more of a game engine than it's actually like a game itself. Minecraft is a little bit more of a game than Roblox is, but Roblox is very much just kind of a sandbox that you have a bunch of tools, and then that's kind of what you do to actually play the game, or like make the games that you play on there. And so the game itself is really, really small, but because there's a lot of people out there making content for it, it becomes infinitely big, right? It's the same thing with the creator thing. I don't really know what it's called, but the thing in Roblox where you like make your, or not Roblox, sorry, in Fortnite where you make like your own game modes and stuff. That's also really popular. I think it's called Sandbox or something, whatever. I don't know. I don't play Fortnite, but it's the same thing with that, right? Like if you have that sort of environment with an already or like a sufficiently popular enough game, it kind of becomes self-sustaining at that point. Which is why Minecraft, for example, has been able to exist for so long. And that is simply just because it's more of a sandbox than an actual game on its own at this point. Like, yeah, people do play vanilla Minecraft, and there's a bunch of people running their own servers, right? Like playing SMPs. But the main reason why those SMPs even exist in the first place is because of mods. You know, something like the QSMP that Quackity has been having quite a lot of success with, for example. The only reason that exists is because Minecraft is so moddable. Like, there's no reason you can make, like, no way you can make a translation program like that extensive and that, like, intrusive in something like Overwatch. You know? Like, that's just not possible. Also, why did I slash hub? That was a terrible slash hub. Okay, whatever. But yeah, I feel like that's kind of like the best way to have your game survive for a long time is make it moddable or make it like kind of turn it into its own game engine, if that makes sense. Me went bottom text. I have a lot of those moments whenever I play Skyblock, especially when I'm streaming, because I get kind of overloaded sometimes, and then I'm just kind of like, what am I doing? And then I do something really stupid. Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's kind of the main issue with like having games being an open an open book and you can kind of do whatever you want with them is there's typically a lot of copyright issues. And the people who make content for the games typically don't get rewarded very well unless they kind of find their own way to get monetized, which a lot of people did struggle with. So in that way, like it's there's not that much incentive to make content for those types of games. Oh, that's true. You can go ahead and ask questions. That's no worries. I'm from Denmark myself. I'm an EU player, unlike the majority of the Skyblock player base, which is a shame. I feel like we need more EU representation. That's at least my hope because we need more EU players if we ever want to get transfer packets. But I mean, the forging update will be the first step for that, so that's exciting at least, and at least allow the developers to actually implement them. And I did see that Minikloon actually reacted to the update where they added transfer packets. I think it was like one of the latest snapshots, so that's really nice. Cash grab game, yeah. Roblox is a bit predatory in that way. A lot more than like Minecraft also has that kind of issue with a lot of like faction servers or a lot of servers being very pay to win. But yeah, Minicool is really cool. I like Minicool. He's a good developer. I really enjoyed the Rift update myself. I know a lot of people say it's kind of mid and they don't really have it and they didn't really enjoy it and all that stuff, but honestly, in my opinion, it's like one of my favorite Skyblock updates ever. I thought I was American. Ah, thank you. No, I'm not American. I've just been speaking English since I was like 10. I've watched a lot of Minecraft YouTube in my younger days, so I have a lot of experience with like Americans speaking English, and I've kind of initially actually when I started speaking English, I had a pretty heavy American accent. It's not gone away entirely, but my English has definitely turned a lot more Danish, or like at least a lot more British than what it used to be. It's really good, yeah. I personally really enjoy it. Relatable, yeah. There's a lot of people in my generation who are a lot more international than like older generations, especially people in like the tech world or like who enjoy computers or doing stuff with computers. There's a lot of people there that are like quite good at English. I'm kind of unique though still because like I'm almost better at English than I am at my native language, which is a little bit concerning in some situations, but it does give me some issues sometimes when I'm like out and hanging out with my friends and I have to speak Danish and like half the time I like forget a word and then I like say it in English and then it like makes no sense. It's a little weird. My inner monologue is also in English, which is like it really shouldn't be, but it is, so hey, that's something I have to deal with. Yeah. That's true. I mean, English is kind of like an interesting language in that way. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of people, like a lot of unique people speaking English, and there's a lot of different ways you can speak English. So, like, while, some Europeans might not technically speak like correct English, sometimes like the way they speak the language can make a lot more sense to like the native population that or like in the country they're speaking English in, right? You especially see this with like French people. If you've ever heard of French persons try to speak English, or even like a pretty okay English speaking French person, they speak English completely differently than like anyone else does, just because they're like, that's, oops. Oh no, if there's a guy in my lobby now, but they saw me do slip and slash. Oh, god damn it, I'm embarrassed now. But yeah, if you've ever spoken to like a French person speaking English, they speak it so differently. And like, yeah, you can chalk it up for to them being bad at English, which, there's definitely a part of that. Like, the French population is not known for their English speaking capabilities, but a lot of it is also just because the way they speak English is the way you speak English in French, like in France, because that's kind of like it's been influenced in a lot of ways by a lot of French words. And, you know, it just makes more sense in the way the French people speak languages or speak French, for example. So you end up with this kind of hybrid almost, which, like, in a way makes more sense in some scenarios than like actual English does, but a lot of the time, it can be quite confusing if you're used to, the British way or the American way or like the Australian, Aussie way. But yeah, fortunately, I have spoken to French people in English. Unfortunately, I have had interactions with French people, or as I like to call them, Frenchies. French people have kind of gotten like a reputation for that being like online, like just being interesting, interesting people, especially in like competitive shooters, for example. Whenever you get a French teammate as a European, you are always a little bit on edge because it's like I would have preferred a Brit. I would have preferred a Brit, and that's not a very high standard. So like getting a French person is not that great. French, they say, yeah, exactly. Vast majority of French people are very nice people, but just because their culture is quite a lot different compared to a lot of other people, and compared to like the English like world, um, a lot of like the demeanor can seem kind of rude or disrespectful, or just they kind of have trouble and very much get more frustrated than other people do just because they struggle a lot more with just like understanding language. So whenever someone gives them instruction in, in English and, they have to use extra brain cycles to understand that because it's not their native language, you kind of tend to get more frustrated. So a lot of French people end up being quite frustrated. Belgians? I haven't played with a lot of Belgians. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Belgium really has the same like reputation just because they're not the largest French-speaking population, but yeah, it's a lot smaller of a country compared to France. And French people have like a tendency to be very vocal in video games. Kind of the same with Russian people. They also tend to be quite vocal. They're just there, yeah. Do you have a sponsorship with Elon Musk himself yet? Nope. I do not have a sponsorship from Elon Musk. And I mean, thank God for that. Oh my God, I don't know how many things I would have to like change in my behavior if I got a sponsorship from Elon Musk. Not yet, yeah. True. You know what? I shouldn't question myself like that. Obviously, I'm gonna get a sponsorship from Elon Musk. I'm gonna get sponsors by SpaceX, and I'm gonna go to Mars. Isn't that like my entire persona is like a space person? Once I get big, that's what I'm gonna be doing. I'm gonna be an astronaut. I'm gonna be an actual astronaut. I'm gonna be an astronaut playing Skyblock in space. That is my goal. To become an astronaut so I can play Skyblock in space. Become the sky. Playing Skyblock in the sky. That is honestly a fire YouTube video. God, I wish I could make that. That would be like instantly viral. I promise you that. You stabbed yourself with your compass? How the hell did you even manage to do that? Isn't a compass supposed to be like round? How do you stab yourself with something round? Missing out as mage, yeah, for real. I could single-handedly save Twitter if Elon Musk just gave me a sponsorship. Percent of his relationship for a great life, yeah, true. The thing about Elon Musk though is like his net worth is bipolar, just because it's like tied up in a lot of very unstable stocks. So whenever you like look at his net worth, sometimes it's like he's the world richest man. Other times he's like barely top 100. Obviously he's still really wealthy, but like it's crazy how much it varies. The ping there would be worse. I mean, yeah, but like I got EU ping already, so how much worse can it realistically get? The compass? Oh, the compass for drawn circles. I see. Yeah, that's called something different in my native language. I don't actually remember what it's called, but it's not called a compass. I don't think about that when I hear compass. The compass. Oh no. I don't think it's called that, no. I'm actually very positive it is not called that. But yeah. How long have you been doing Diana for? I've doing Diana for like an hour and a half. We've only gone one Inquisitor. That's honestly been quite unlucky. A little unfortunate, but hey. Whatever. My RG lately really hasn't been very good, but it's whatever. There's better ping in here, yeah. The ping would be bipolar. Honestly, getting an internet connection in like space would be pretty hard. Like I think, because you'd be so close to like satellites. I don't think there's infrastructure for that, you know. Like I know there's probably people like the people in the ISS who have internet, but I don't think like a priority for NASA has been giving them, you know, like gigabit internet with like minimal latency so they can game Fortnite in outer space, for example. I don't think that's a very big priority, you know. Which is a shame, honestly. There should be an like a space esport team. Someone should make that, honestly. Just have like an entire esports team just based in space. Like imagine how cool that would be. With 200 terabit internet speeds. That sounds like insanely good internet. The first Hyperion that was made on the moon. That is honestly a fire video idea too, yeah. Because Hyperion literally means moon. That's honestly a great idea too. What does Estrella mean? Does Estrella just mean star? I'm pretty sure Estrella just means star. Maybe Scylla means something else. You could make each of the Wither Blades and then you could like be there in space, actually. Or as way as possible from grass. True. Literally, like the esports team that literally doesn't touch grass. That physically cannot touch grass. That would it would be perfect, yeah, because there would be no distractions whatsoever. You would literally just be in space. The only thing you can do is sleep or play games. That's it. It would be like perfect. You wouldn't even have to worry about your own weight as well, because like you just get fat and it wouldn't be a problem, because like you're weightless. It doesn't matter. I have an allergy to grass. Yeah, made the moon on the moon. Exactly. If the rage, oh yeah, oh yeah, we hope they won't rage because then they might accidentally puncture a hole in like their space capsule, and then like that would be bad. Yeah, true. They have to like fly all the way across the room to pick it back up. Honestly, that's kind of funny. That would be kind of hype, honestly. I'm all for that. Just being able to like throw your controller like 100 meters down a hall. That would be fire. I would love that. You could also make like literally like IRL Among Us. That would be so cool too. Like there's so much content you can make with like a space team, like a space esports team. There's so many things you could do. God, why has no one done this yet, man? I'm disappointed. I thought we were supposed to have a moon base by now. Why is there no space-based esports team yet? Man, we need to make this happen, guys. I'm starting a GoFundMe for a space-based esports team. We're gonna make this happen. I promise. This is my new passion. This is my only goal in life. I'm gonna make a space esports team. I'm gonna be like that other Twitch streamer, Disguised Toast, and have my own esports team. VR Among Us take it to the next level, for real. VR Among Us, but it's not VR. It's just the International Space Station. Have there people who have like actually streamed from like the International Space Station though? I'm pretty sure I saw like an article about that at some point, where there was like an actual like someone actually streaming from the International Space Station, which is honestly hype. They should do that more. I feel like it's so interesting. It would be really interesting to like to see what they do, just because they live so differently, right? The rules of gravity doesn't apply to them. Also, I've apparently killed 88 combat XP worth of wolves accidentally just doing Diana. Crazy. At this rate, I think I'm gonna have like one Sven boss like every 5 hours or something. Then it would only take me like 1,000 hours to get to Sven 9. It would be fun to watch, yeah, for real. I've almost been live for 3 hours at this point. It's getting a little bit late. I do have to work tomorrow, so I think I'm not going to be streaming for too much longer. It's been fun, though. I have some fun talking about space esports. We have made a decent amount of progress. I got like, what, 40k Wolf EXP almost? Right around that. We didn't drop anything crazy from Diana, but at least we've got like 10 mil worth of Griffin feathers, which is not bad at all. That's a good thing about Diana, right? So, because even like if you don't drop anything, at least you always get the Griffin feathers. Even more expensive. Yeah. In reality, I don't think a space esports team would ever be like profitable like at all. Even if it became like the most successful esports team in the entire world, I doubt it would be profitable. Because like the cost it takes to send someone to outer space and the cost it would take to set up the infrastructure to like make people actually be able to game from outer space is absolutely ludicrous. Also, oh my god, Inquisitor, you hurt. I missed my slowness pot. Are you kidding me? That hit, thank god. Chimera, please. Time to actually focus up. Okay, don't want to hurt it too much, but also don't want it to have too much health so I accidentally die or something. That would be quite bad. I have died to Inquisitors before. We drop nothing. I hate my life. 2 Inquisitors, nothing from either. Well, unfortunate. That's probably going to be the last Inquisitor of the stream, unless we start actually getting a little bit lucky, but hey, you can always hope. At least it's bestiary progress. Now I'm like 10.2% of the way to being maxed on Inquisitor bestiary. Woo! That's nice, I guess. Or something. Elon Musk streaming on Twitter from space, yeah. That sounds like something he would actually do, though. There was that Tesla Roadster live stream where like he sent a Tesla Roadster to space and then, you know, he live streamed it. That was pretty cool. I feel like that was like the peak of Elon Musk, honestly. I feel like after that, he's just kind of been doing weird corporate Twitter stuff that really haven't been that interesting. He was a lot more interesting when he was like actually doing funny stuff like that, like sending a car to space or like selling flamethrowers or like just digging tunnels weird places. It was a lot more interesting like that, you know? Then he started making a bunch of claims or like doing a bunch of stuff that like was just kind of weird. He's not the man anymore, for real. Elon Musk fell off. He's only like the 10th richest billionaire in the world at this point. How do you get a permit? Oh, he didn't. He got a permit to sell what's called like weed burners. Uh, So that he just designed to look like flamethrowers. So like it's not a real flamethrower. It's actually technically just a weed burner, but it like was designed to look like an actual flamethrower. So you know, it was actually kind of cool. And it did spew frames quite far as well, just because they designed it like differently to not actually burn weeds, but to actually like throw flames, you know. But technically speaking, I think the FCC like accounts it as a weed burner, which you know is like actually legal to sell. But there is actually states in the US where you can have flamethrowers, which is kind of funny. I'm not sure if it's like, you know, if you're allowed to sell them, but you definitely are allowed to own them. I even think you don't like in some states you don't even need like a license to do that, which is just kind of crazy. Imagine having like a flamethrower and it's just like, oh yeah, that's just something I have. You just go to Walmart and buy a flamethrower and that's like no problem. But honestly, a lot of American culture is like that. Like imagine being able to go into your grocery store and then buy a fucking gun. Like what the fuck is that? Like I get that's probably pretty normal for a lot of Americans, but like in Europe, that shit is like what the fuck? It's crazy. It's insane. Like you can barely even get your hands on like a basic handgun in Europe. And like definitely not without at least having like a thorough background check done beforehand. Like and then being able to like just to go into a grocery store and like buy a gun with like minimal background checks or anything. It's crazy. It's a crazy culture, man. As regards to ourselves, yeah, for real. I feel like that's better though. Like honestly, I wouldn't feel safe, you know, if I knew that like some of the people out there and you know those people, you know, those French people for example, they could just like live next door and have a gun for no good reason. I mean, and not yeah, in a lot of places in the US, but there are Walmarts like out there that actually sell guns. Like that is a thing. Like you can buy guns in some Walmarts. It's typically not like the most powerful guns or anything. No, it's probably just like some basic pellet guns, which are, you know, not really guns, but like there are all Walmarts out there who like sell for it like guns. Damn the French for real. Screw French people for real. They are not people, I swear. I've gotten like 50k combat XP actually. I didn't realize that I actually would get so much combat XP. Oh, that guy just launched a bat firework and then left the lobby. What the hell? Okay. Sure, I guess. Put in a nail and a nerf bullet and you have a weapon. Yeah, I mean, true. That's basically like... That's basically a gun. A nerf gun with a nail on it. I mean, you can definitely like get dangerous weapons in the EU as well, without having to like going through any sort of licensing. It's just a lot more extreme in the US, you know? Because in the US, like you don't have to go through any sort of loopholes or you don't have to like do anything weird. You can just, you know, do everything completely legal and then you can have like weapons that are like genuinely capable of killing multiple people in short amount of times. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I know they give you purple candies and I know it's like on launch, but it's just kind of funny to see. It just launches a firework and just leaves. But yeah, it makes sense. Although I don't feel like it's ever really that worth it. But I guess it's like the only thing you can really do with green candies. You really can't do anything special with them. The only real use they have is like get converted to purple candies. But like candies are kind of like that though. Like both types of candies, because like it's really not that hard to get like all the items from the spooky shop, for example. And then like beyond those, there's like no reason to actually do it. Iron Man, if you don't need greens, yeah, true. But like on Iron Man, it's really not that hard to get the purple candy you need. And like there's really not that many items. And you don't like even need it for like residual stuff. There's like no potion effects, there's no like consumables that you need to buy with candy, so it's just kind of like I don't know. It's very niche and like, you know, on Iron Man you just really don't need much candy. It did increase by a little bit when they added Taming 60 because now you need an extra black cat, but other than that, it's really not that many things you need. They added some mid candy colors? Wait, what? They added colors? Did they add dyes to the candy shop? Or color? Our other colors tastes better? Oh, you mean, okay, I get what you mean. I get what you mean. Yeah, true. I mean, green is pretty okay. Like, sour apple can be pretty good, but like, purple? I don't think I've ever had like purple candy that actually like tastes legitimately good. I feel like purple. What is that? That's like grape, right? Like grape candy. Grape candy is really not that good. I agree with blue being better. I don't know. Yeah, I'd agree with red being better too. Yeah, blue is like blue raspberry, which is typically pretty good, or like just blueberry, for example, which is also quite good. Red tends to be like sometimes it's apple too, but otherwise it's like it's like very sweet, like strawberry sweet, which is generally quite nice. I like that. But I like green too. It's just the color blue, that's true. That's actually true. There's a few tastes that are like that, right? Like sparkling water being the taste of static. Watermelon is usually red? Yeah, true. Watermelon is like a green red though. Sometimes watermelon is also just green. But like obviously a lot of candy just has a weird color and then it's like doesn't actually describe anything about it. It's just like it's just its color. Which I mean, you know, is fair enough. We don't really have to overanalyze the colors of like candy too hard. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I'm like almost been live for 3 hours at this point. I think I'm gonna end stream in like 2 minutes. We can do like two more burial trails or something. I'm getting kind of tired though. I'll do two more burial trails starting from this one, and then I'll end stream. This is getting a little late, and I have work tomorrow. So, also okay, that one doesn't count. That was like basically not a trail. I think they picked a good Skittle color. So, oh really? I haven't eaten many Skittles almost in my entire life. I don't like chocolate, but I know Skittles aren't chocolate. Like I have had them, and like they taste pretty good, honestly. But I don't know. I just haven't had many Skittles. I think when I was younger, I was like scared that they would contain chocolates because they reminded me of M&Ms. So I was like scared of tasting them. But like they're not chocolate, so like I shouldn't be. But I don't know. I just haven't like really eaten a lot of them. They've been pretty good, but I don't know. This is 100% true. Don't look it up. What? What is true? Mob burial. Burial. My champion. Die. Loser. Haha, we got you. We got you, you Stupid mob. Stupid champion looking ah. You're talking about the skill colors? I'm kinda confused. Anyway, this is gonna be the last burial of the stream. I'm getting really tired. You can probably tell it. I've probably been a little bit more quiet. We got a decent amount of money off this, honestly. What's that? That's like 13 mil of Griffin feathers, and we got like another few mil off just coin drops, honestly. So probably what's that? Like 20 million coins or something in total, if you account for the dwarf drill shellments as well. The ancient claws. Yeah, I'd probably say about like 20 million coins in drops. It was like 2 hours, which is not really that good, like money-wise per hour, obviously, but I think overall it was still decent. Obviously, if dropped a chimera or something, that would actually have been a lot better. If just going straight to the chest, you were so right. Let's do that right now, actually. That's gonna be the last thing I do. There's no space. I'm gonna move some dwarf turtle shellments from up here down here. There we go. Perfect. Alright. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the stream. I had a lot of fun today. It was a nice stream. It was the first, like, normal stream I feel like I've had from being back. It's the first stream I felt like I've actually been, like, kind of back into it. Like, I'd streamed a couple of other times, but I feel like I've been kind of out of it, like, kind of out of the whole streaming thing, so. But yeah, I felt like it was different today. It was quite nice, quite refreshing. We got some stuff done. Obviously, I still have a long way to go until Wolf 9, and I probably won't live stream all of it, but I might be back with some more Wolf Slayer. I'll definitely be streaming more next week. As I have also said in my most recent video, I am trying to stream every other day, like I was before my break. And yeah, I hope to see you in my next streams, and I hope you have a good day.